To take something from this game tonight. It's time now to sit back and enjoy the action. It's Celtic against Livingston with Pat Bonner, Alan Preston and Alistair Lamont.
Thanks very much, Kenny. Welcome to Celtic Park on a dreich December evening as the champions aim to restore their 9-point advantage over Rangers. They're on a 9-game winning run in the league. That's their best under Ange Postecoglou, and the last gasp victory over Aberdeen suggests they're in no mood to let up over this festive period. Livingston, though, are not here to roll over. They managed a goalless draw in 2 of their last 3 visits, albeit there was a 6-0 thumping sandwiched in between, and they've never won at this venue, and you'll get long odds on them ending that run this evening. Celtic are closing in on 2 years unbeaten here in the league. Let's see what unfolds over the next 90 odd minutes. Both sides ready to get going. Celtic will kick us off. They're going from left to right as we look at it from the media position in the middle of the main stand. Celtic in their green and white hoops, white shorts, green and white hoop socks. Livingston all in gold, looking to provide a shock result and more drama as the Cinch Premiership returns. The referee Ewan Anderson blows his whistle and we are underway, and Saturday's match winner Callum McGregor picks up and rolls it to Greg Taylor, and Celtic, well, they might not have 80.5% of possession like they did against Aberdeen at the weekend, but it'll be pushing up towards that, you would imagine. They boss the ball regardless of who they're playing in the domestic game, and here they come, coming forward, and it's Jota on the left flank up against Nicky Devlin, the Livingston captain, cutting in from the left to the angle of the box. Gets it into the area. Oberlai misses his kick, but it's hacked away from the Livingston box, and it'll be a throw-in over on the far side. And Celtic Paki will try to get the tempo up as quickly as they possibly can, get the ball thrown on.
Yeah, well, they're at home, and I've no doubt that the ball boys are as well educated in that front, and they're part of the tempo and intensity and so on. So, but it's down to the players how they pass the ball also. Off that first, second touch pass, and they keep the ball moving. Very difficult for the opposition. You've got to be really concentrated all of the 90 minutes.
It does look like Livingston are playing a back 5 effectively as Jota picks up the ball. He's offside. Alan Preston, the shift to a back 3 for Livingston is a slightly curious one for me, in the sense that Kyogo's the only central striker for Celtic, so why go with a back 3 in that instance?
Just for stability, because what you will get with Celtic will be Jota will come in, Abada will come in, so they'll be coming off their wings to be a second striker. When Jota's got to look at Abada, he doesn't stay on the touchline, Alistair, he's in as a second striker, and when Abada's got on the right, Jota comes in as well. So it gives them a little bit of a safety valve in there as well.
And also they've had success with a 3 at the back in the past, almost defending that 6-yard box where goals are scored from.
Okay, well, there's your explanation, the tactical analysis from Alan Preston and Paki Bonner as Celtic get a free kick and they take it quickly, and it's Hatate crossing the halfway line, trying to slide it forward, looking for Kyogo. It's cut out, and then Hatate miscontrols as the ball comes back to him. It'll be a Livingston throwing over on the far side as they look to settle into the game. It's a really interesting stat that David Martindale mentioned pre-match to Martin, about having gained more points against both Celtic and Rangers since they were promoted back to the top flight than any other club. I mean, that is some going for a club the size of Livingston.
No doubt about it, and that's down to the manager. I wonder, was it all under him? Or does it go back a little bit further?
It goes a bit further.
A bit further than that, yeah.
Yeah. So whatever they're doing it well, but you know, and I would love to know if that's home or away also, and how you break that down.
I think it's all told, yeah. Here's Celtic picking up midway inside the Livingston half. Greg Taylor plays it infield for Hatate. Taylor once more. Hatate again picks up and then plays it square to Ralston. Still midway inside the visitors' half, out to Abada on the right hand side, up against Montano. Plays the short ball, looking for O'Reilly. It wasn't a particularly good one. O'Reilly's won it back though. I think Longridge was hoping for a free kick, doesn't get it. Ralston has it back with O'Reilly, and now it's Hatate, angle of the box on the right hand side. Greg Taylor up in an advanced position again on almost the right wing, the left back Here's O'Reilly, slides it to Ralston. Ralston with the delivery into the penalty area. Livingston haven't dealt with it. Kyogo tries to get the shot and goal on the spin, but he's knocked it off target. But a couple of times the ball's come into that Livingston box. They've miskicked their attempted clearances, and they get away with it on this occasion. 3.5 in, 0-0.
Yeah, they've got away with that a couple of times. There's been a lot of rain in Glasgow this afternoon, Alistair. The pitch is slick. I would have thought Kyogo Pat would have been better laying that back to Abada there. He tries to swivel and hit it on his left foot. He's all off balance. Abada's facing him up, just rolls it back to him. And I'm sure the winger would have got a strike at goal.
I agree, it would have been an unbelievable execution if he was able to get that on target from where he was. Initially I thought that Matt O'Reilly had a chance to put the ball into the box, and then he looks up and there's not that great much height in there, so he elected not to put it in, but eventually to put it in with pace from a different angle.
Here's Abada against Montano, trying to get the better of them. The two number 11s up against each other, Abada and Montano. Montano's done well, he's dispossessed the young Israeli and then just knocks it up towards the halfway line. It's gone out of play on this near touchline. It will be a Celtic throw-in, and Livingston will battle all the way.
That'll be a great battle, Montano and Abada. Abada's electric, but Montano's no slouch.
And I say it's a back five, and it really is a back five. It's not a back three on this occasion. Certainly Devlin and Montano are nominally wing backs, but they look very much so. It's virtually a flat back five right now, midway inside their own half, as Carter Vickers picks up on the halfway line and plays it to Taylor to McGregor, who had an unbelievable amount of touches against Aberdeen. He just kept circulating possession, kept the tempo up, and eventually got his reward with a fabulous strike, you'd have to say, from the edge of the penalty area to earn Celtic all 3 points. Yeah. Taylor here out to Jota on the far side, the Celtic left up against Devlin, onto the right foot, stands it up in the penalty area. Longridge gets a good header away to the edge of the box. Ralston battling in there. McGregor picks up about 35 yards from goal, out to Abada, back to his captain on the right hand side, trying to spin away from Omiyonga, who's back with him. Now it's O'Reilly, knocks it forward looking for the run of Hatate. It was a good run, but it was well matched by Sean Kelly, who'd gone back there and clears his lines. Celtic doing all the pressing in these early stages, as you'd expect. It's Starfelt.
The game's gone into a familiar pattern, of course, with Celtic dominating possession and Livingston just defending with that diamond in the middle of the pitch, also in the back three and the wing backs tucked in.
It's got to be offside.
Very difficult to break it down.
Yeah, Livingston have virtually stopped playing there as all the arms went up, and eventually the assistant referee in his near side raised his flag in agreement. But we do see late flags at times, play allowed to develop if the assistant believes it's a close call, and VAR can come into play to decide if a goal is scored ultimately. It will be a free kick though to Livingston, just outside the box of Ivan Konovalov, with Shamal George still not recovered from it was a thigh knock. He had a strain of some sort that kept him out for a couple of games before the break, and still doing so now. The Russian goalkeeper takes his place again. It was his first league appearance of the season, actually, in that game against Hearts. Livingston have won themselves a free kick about 10 yards inside the Celtic half, and a rare chance to throw the likes of Obalai up and try and get on the end, and you do wonder if a set piece might be their best opportunity of getting on the score sheet. They take it short. It's to Kelly, out to the right hand side it goes. Devlin knocks it back the way. Stephen Kelly, and then in from Sean Kelly, but he's not delivered a good ball, and Celtic deal with that pretty comfortably, and Abada comes over the halfway line. He's bundled to the ground, not according to the referee though, by Montano. Montano comes forward, crossing the halfway line. It's a good run by Montano, good challenge though by Greg Taylor to stop him in his tracks. Bruce Anderson's well challenged as well, and O'Reilly picks up and knocks it out to the left hand side for Jota. Jota coming forward down the left. Across goes Fitzwater. It's Jota on the left hand side of the box, comes off Fitzwater and behind for a Celtic corner. Celtic 0, Livingston 0.
That was fair enough for the referee. I thought Montana did win the ball, Alistair, and then up the other end a lovely tackle by Taylor as well to win the ball back. And then just as we were touching on earlier, you've seen as Jota goes down there, Abada's off his touchline, and he's in into penalty spot looking for that cutback.
Will be a corner kick to Celtic on the left hand side, to be taken by Matt O'Reilly. Left-footed outswinger onto the edge of the penalty. It's Montano who wins it, comes to Hatate, and he gets it all wrong. Blasts it way over the top and into the crowd behind Konovalov's goal. It will be a goal kick to Livingston. We've played 8 minutes at Celtic Park.
Yeah, it was
still goalless.
That free kick, I know it was a little bit central, but I was surprised he didn't put it into the box early in the game, just to test the Celtic defence. He took it short and nearly got done in the counter-attack. They disappointed me in that fact, because you know what Livingston all about. Get it into the box, get the big guys up there and put defenders under pressure.
Yeah, it was slightly surprising, Packy. I agree that they didn't put that straight into the box, obviously trying to engineer the angle perhaps, but didn't come off, and the chance was gone as Ralston gives it away to Penrice on the halfway line, and then Sean Kelly comes bursting forward, but he just overruns it, and Ralston atones and knocks it back to Joe Hart about 8 yards from his goal, and it's out to Starfelt, and now Taylor back with his Swedish central defender, who plays it to Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers back from World Cup duty. One game he played in the USA's win over Iran at the competition.
But what an experience for all of those players.
Brilliant.
that either played in Scotland or came through the ranks in Scotland, and some of them are here tonight. But what an experience when you play in the World Cup. Your confidence just goes through the roof if you've been successful or in a team that had some success.
Ralston's forward pass was looking for Abada. Montano read it, though he was in the way. Ralston makes the challenge to win it back, though. Here's Hatate midway inside the Livy half, out to Abada, right hand side of the penalty area, stands it up into the penalty area, it goes, but knocked away by Kelly, Stephen Kelly that time. Here's O'Reilly, angle of the box on the right hand side on the left foot, looking to find room for the shot. He does in the end, but it's a tame one into the arms of Konovalov. 10 minutes gone at Celtic Park. It's Celtic 0, Livingston 0.
You can see that Celtic are trying to play the balls up inside of the wing backs, Pat. You see if Abada is on the touchline, then he makes a dart and run. Jota's the same on the other side, and that's what that back five does. The gaps aren't as big as they would be with a normal back four. Yeah,
and I think the wide areas is going to be the critical area tonight. You know, it depends who comes out on top in those situations, and it's going to be 1v1 on both sides, because Celtic play with the wingers, and the wing backs won't have a lot of help at times because they're so congested in the middle of the pitch, and the back three don't want to step out there also.
I mentioned that Celtic had won their last 9 league games since the 2-0 defeat by St Mirren back in the middle of September, and it's the best run under Ange Postecoglou in the league. The last one more in a row, and that was 11 under Neil Lennon. That run going back to December 2019. Looking to make it 10 in a row tonight. Here's Ralston coming forward up towards the halfway line. Livingston quite content to let him come to halfway before beginning to engage. There's Abada back to Ralston just inside the Livy half, plays it square to Starfelt. Bruce Anderson's got a real job in his hands up there on his own tonight. Goes across to try and close down Starfelt, with the ball's already away to Jota on the left hand side up against Devlin. Looks like he's overrun it. Jota just tries to poke it into the penalty area, hadn't crossed the line actually, and it's knocked away and out for a throw in over on the far side. Jota just managing to keep that in but couldn't find a teammate. Celtic throw in.
Getting to the byline is a critical part, I think, of the Celtic team. You know, and it drags in defenders, central defenders, out of their position, and that cutback that was evident in the World Cup, for example. The Dutch, for example, use it to its maximum, and that cutback then allows players arriving in the box to get on the end of things.
Abada finds O'Reilly, who slips it in for Hatate, right hand side, almost at the goal line. Across goal it goes, and no takers in the middle, and all the way through. And Greg Taylor will keep it in on the far side and keep the danger alive. Left hand side for Greg Taylor, and it comes. Konovalov hasn't dealt with that. Montano though picks up possession and can clear his lines, but Livingston living dangerously, but it remains goalless.
I think Longridge gets a touch on that initial cross. I think he's trying to look up, he's trying to find Kyogo. I think Longridge gets a touch on it and it goes right along the byline virtually.
Certainly did, but Celtic couldn't turn it in. If Longridge did get a touch, it was perhaps a very crucial one, and then Konovalov not covering himself in glory from the next ball that came in from Greg Taylor. As Alan said, it's very wet in Glasgow, has been, and perhaps the ball's pretty slippery as well. But
I think he was put off actually by Hatate, who had made the run to the front post.
Here's Jota, edge of the penalty area, looking to find room for the shot. A crowded area, back heels it to Hatate. Now it's Taylor, edge of the box. Hatate once more picks up. Now Jota playing a couple of 1-2s with the Japanese midfielder. Hatate has it back, pokes it goalwards just wide. Konovalov had it covered, I think, as it just flew wide, a couple of inches wide, and not much more of Konovalov's right hand post. Livingston are having to defend for their lives. 13 minutes played though. And still a stalemate.
And for Livingston, every minute is ticking off. We're still in the game, 13 minutes gone now, not been breached yet. Yeah, a couple of hairy moments. You can just feel Celtic are ramping up. They've got lovely one-touch stuff there, getting through that Livingston back five, but still no goals.
Well, they had to wait, what was it, 86, 87 minutes up at Pittodrie. I'm sure the fans won't ideally want to wait that long for a breakthrough tonight, but if it comes to that and they get the victory, they'll go home happy, no doubt.
I just see David Martindale down remonstrating with his goalkeeper, who kicked that ball straight down the middle. That's the kind of detail that he's looking for, and he won't put up with it, so he's given the goalkeeper a little bit of jip.
Here's Jota looking for Hatate. It does come through to Hatate. Livingston working hard. It was Stephen Kelly who got a touch on that. McGregor picks up though, and it's Hatate left hand side of the penalty area. McGregor once more right on the touchline on the left hand side. Hatate plays it square to Ralston, midway inside the Livy half. Out to Abada it goes, right hand side of the penalty area now, up against Montano, slips it for Ralston. Ralston checks back, it's a good bit of play, left footed cross headed away by Fitzwater on the edge of his 6-yard box. Nodded back towards Livingston territory by Carter Vickers, and then Montano brings down Abada, and it will be a Celtic free kick midway inside the Livy half, right hand side, and a chance for Celtic perhaps to swing one into the area.
This is perfect for Matt O'Reilly, and he's just be looking, if it is him, just looking around about the penalty spot. That's the line, bit of pace on it, and let Starfelt and Carter Vickers and guys like that go up and try and get on the end of it.
Yeah, test for the goalkeeper. I think he's third choice, isn't he? And he's come through, and he's finished off the first phase, and he's now in this first game here, so it's a big test for him. Will he come? Will he stay? Will he deal with it?
Livingston holding a line at the edge of the 18-yard box. The free kick is maybe 35, just over 35 yards from goal, right of centre, as O'Reilly clips it in with a bit of spin. It comes off ahead, and Konovalov takes no chances as he tips it over the crossbar. Not sure whose head precisely it did come off, but it was certainly heading, and it might just have dipped under the bar as Konovalov tips it over, and it will be a Celtic corner. Quarter of an hour played, 0-0. Jota to take from the left-hand side.
Hatate's on. Just didn't get it right.
Execution wasn't quite right, was it, from Jota? Hatate's done well to keep it in on this right touchline. Celtic still looking for the breakthrough against Livingston here. The game has been played almost entirely in Livingston's defensive third, but it's a good bit of play there from Longridge, who dispossesses Hatate, and Livingston come forward. It's Penrice crossing the halfway line, looking to find Bruce Anderson, but Starfelt's there first, knocks it back to Joe Hart. It's ever so difficult to do, but Livingston have got to try and keep the ball a bit better, Alan.
They have to. That was really good play. 3 or 4 players involved, nice one-touch stuff, and then Penrice just loses it. But they've got to try and keep it if they can. If they can get it up to Anderson, he has to be strong. It's very difficult against 2 big centre halves. Can he hold it? Can he get midfield players up to support them? Because Livingston need to get that back five up the park.
Yeah, they're sitting very, very deep, as David Martindale admitted he expected them to be pushed back. As Jota makes the breakthrough almost, but Obo lies there as a last line of defence and manages to clear his lines. Carter Vickers picks up almost in the halfway line and gets it to Starfelt. All Celtic in these opening 17 minutes, but no goals to show for it as yet. O'Reilly back to Ralston. Ralston switches play out to Taylor on the left flank, midway inside the Livy half. Infield it goes to Hatate, spins one way then the other, out to Jota on the left hand side, a bit of room, measures the cross, Obolai meets it, comes to Ralston, edge of the penalty area, eyes up the shot, and it was rising all the way, and it ended up a yard or two over the crossbar. He struck it well, Anthony Ralston, but couldn't keep it down. Celtic 0, Livingston 0.
Yeah, it was a good strike. It was a little bit critical of the full basket when they got into those inverted full-back positions high up the pitch and on the edge of Aberdeen's box at the weekend. He didn't take on the shot. This time Tony Ralston took on the shot, got a good pace on it, good strike, but the accuracy was slightly out and just got over it.
Matt O'Reilly closing down Jackson Longridge well, and he's done really well. Not only has he closed them down, he's won possession out on this right hand side. It's O'Reilly, edge of the penalty now. Hatate finds Abada looking to get it across goal. Obolai was in the way. Montano picks up almost on the goal line on the left hand side for Livy. He's done well to get away initially from Abada, but Abada's won it back. Ralston sends it across the 6-yard box. Again, no Celtic player can get on the end of it. It's gone behind for a goal kick. Celtic are really pressing for this opening goal. It hasn't come yet. 18 in, 0-0.
Yeah, probably causing their own downfall there, and with Salute they want to try and play it out from the back, but Celtic are really hounding them to get the ball back quick. The one they've got to kick onto, if the keeper's going to kick it, he has to kick it onto Taylor.
Yeah, give Livy a chance of winning the aerial battle, and this time he comes out to the near side where Ralston was challenging Montano. Looks like Ewan Anderson's going to let a lot go this evening. There have been a number of challenges for both sides, to be fair, that have gone in, and Ewan Anderson just letting the play flow, which for the most part I think we all want to see.
I think he's been good so far.
Yeah. Here's Abada. And now Ralston from the right hand side knocks it over towards the left for Starfelt, who miscontrols it, and he hasn't been able to keep it in over on that far flank, and Livingston will just be able to get a little bit further up the park and just take their time and just compose themselves almost. They haven't really been able to put their foot on the ball at all, and they'll have a throw in just inside their own half on the far side, the Livingston right, to be taken by their skipper Nicky Devlin. They've got 1 win and 6 away from home. That was against Kilmarnock, a 3-2 victory, but drawn 2 and lost 3 in that run. But of the last 3, they're unbeaten.
Yeah, it's interesting when you look at the results. I think the biggest defeat that they had was against Celtic, 3-0. Everything else is either a win with 1 goal or a defeat by 1 goal. So they keep things really, really tight, and hopefully by the end of it they get away with a result, for sure.
Here's Hatate, left-hand side, plays it square to Ralston, 30 yards from goal. Just took a poor touch initially, allowed Penrice to close him down. Here's Taylor on the left-hand side, not quite sure what to do there, and in the end he just overruns it, and it's out for a goal kick to Livingston. And Alan, I guess Livingston are trying to get every 5-minute mark. They notch it off, and they've got to 20 minutes now without conceding a goal.
Yeah, I think the game plan for them is working. You know, it's Celtic have had a few crosses flashed across the goal, really, a shot for Ralston, and that's really been about it. It's not as if the keeper for Livingston's been making save after save after save. You know, I think we seen on Saturday up at Aberdeen, the Aberdeen keeper was excellent. Celtic had chances. Tonight they've not created that much so far, but it's early on, 20 minutes, you know, it's nothing in this game, and you can just see Celtic growing in stature, growing as the game goes. Livingston, if they can, be a bit brave and step up 5-10 yards, but it's easier said than done when you're playing here.
You can imagine. Abada, O'Reilly, right hand side up towards the penalty area he comes. Ralston makes the move. Ralston gets the ball into the penalty area. Obalai from the edge of the 6-yard box meets it at the front post and gets it away. Stephen Kelly here on the left hand side just gives possession up once more to McGregor. It's too easy for Celtic to win it back, and here's Taylor midway inside the Livy half, out to Jota, angle of the box on that left hand side, a couple of step overs to beat Devlin, ball across goal again. It was an inviting one, but no Celtic player in that 6-yard box to finish it off, and it's out for a throw in the near side. And Livingston already trying to get a breather because they're doing nothing much more than chasing the ball right now, Patrick.
Yeah, it was almost too good a ball, wasn't it? You know, nobody had anticipated what he was going to do. He stepped over a couple of times, just beat the defender and flashed it across that 6-yard box, but it didn't give any real time. So it's getting into a position, and then the players in the middle of the box anticipating now, making the run, and it'll come to you because they have the ability to get the ball in there.
Because they're not the biggest up front, Celtic, they look for cutbacks all the time, Pat. They really do. And if Livingston can position someone front 6, penalty spot, they try and get a couple of players in that area, they can cut a lot out.
Here's Jota looking to create as ever. Left hand side, plays it infield to Hatate. Hatate 35 yards from goal. Ralston encouraged to hit it by Paki Bonner, but instead he plays out to the right hand side. Comes off, Obalai's in the back of the net, and Celtic have the breakthrough. Abada is getting some credit for that. It was his cross that came in, and Obalai was in the right position, but he couldn't get it away. It comes off his left thigh, I think, in the end. Past the helpless Konovalov into the top corner. It's Celtic 1, Livingston 0.
Yeah, it's a big mistake, you've got to say. I didn't think that it was a good ball. Listen, it was knocked in there, but you would expect the central defender who's picking up that near post to be on his toes, ready to clear that ball, Alan. I think it's a big mistake from Obalai.
Yeah, he's
back on his heels, isn't he?
He just sort of sticks a foot out. It really doesn't do enough.
No.
You know, he's got to, we're just saying that, get into that area and block that area if you can, protect it. And it's just that, you know, it's a decent ball. And I wouldn't say it's a world-class ball, it's decent. And he just sort of sticks a leg out and it comes off him and into the back of the net. Game plan, has to change now then for Livingston.
Yeah, I'm not sure it'll change just yet, will it? I think they'll, even at 1-0, they'll look to soak up the pressure as, for the most part just now, as Obileye battled with Kyogo. It just looked awkward there, Obileye, didn't he? He was, as you say, Alan, in the right position, the one that you wanted him in, but ultimately he couldn't adjust his body quickly enough to get the ball clear.
It's a basic defending, you know. If you're a centre half, that's the area that you've got to defend, and you've got to do better on it. You just can't stand there and let the ball hit you. You've got, even if it bounces up on you, you've got to use your body to deflect it away from goal, rather than, he's almost fallen back slightly and it comes off him.
Yeah, it seemed to come off his knee. I think that is, I really like him as a defender when I watch him at Livingston, but I think tonight he slashed at a few things early on in the game. He's looked a bit uncomfortable.
Maybe the break.
Maybe they're not playing for a number of weeks, as you know, that can be the case. I think Davey was taking them away to, was it Italy, somewhere
Turkey,
like that? Turkey, was it Turkey?
Yeah.
Taking them away somewhere, but you know, it's a friendly match they're playing. They're not competitive matches as such. But I think tonight, and I like him as a defender for Livingston, but he's slashed at a few. Yeah,
he served them well, let's be honest, since he made the move, Queen of the South. Just to let you know, there's a break in play at the moment. Anthony Ralston went down, and it looks like his left ankle that's being treated. He's been helped back to his feet by the Celtic physio, and he'll just limp to the sideline. I think he'll be okay to
look at Joe Hart. Look at Joe Hart over the far side, Alistair.
My goodness, he's 15 yards inside the Livingston half. He will have time to get back.
Speaking of Jota,
that's an interesting one, isn't it? A goalkeeper coming up to tell Jota how to. He's talking about his body position or something.
That's what it seemed to be.
Well, Joe Hart is certainly experienced enough. I think Jota will take that on board as Ralston just jogs down the touchline. We've talked, Packy, a lot about the strength and depth that Celtic have. The one thing they probably don't have at the moment, because Josip Juranovic is not yet back from World Cup duty and Alistair Johnston's not yet eligible to play, is a replacement right back if Anthony Ralston can't continue. He's back on right now.
Stephen Walsh would naturally maybe go out there also, isn't fit. And that,
Anyway, Ralston back on, and it'll take a lot, I would imagine, for him to have to go off. Jota picks up and he plays it square to Ralston, but he sells him a little bit short, but he's won the 50-50 and he goes for goal. Conor Barlow turns it round the post. Well, didn't look to be anything wrong with the ankle there from Anthony Ralston as he shot from 25 yards, but Conor Barlow got down to his right, turns it round the corner.
Yeah, it was a good strike, a bouncing ball. Goalkeeper's made a really good save. Here's a quick corner.
Yeah, Jota for O'Reilly into the penalty area. Obileye gets his head to it. Carter Vickers in there, but he can't get onto it. Omiyonga's back to mop things up for Livingston. Plays it off Hatate. It'll be a Livingston throw in. 26 played. Celtic 1, Livingston 0.
Obileye's lost a boot there as well, but really good quick corner by Celtic. Matt O'Reilly's at the byline, just flips it across and it's headed away. I still think Ralston's struggling. I really do. I think he's had a good save there, but I think he's toiling.
Livy have it again. It's deep in their own territory, finding it difficult to get out. Fitzwater and Longridge and Stephen Kelly playing it between them, but they're right down their own corner on the left hand side, and eventually it's just swept forward by Longridge, and surprise Celtic pick up the ball, although Penrice has won it back from McGregor. Then Hatate comes in, rather barging his way into the fray there, into the back of Penrice, and Livingston have a bit of respite. They've got a free kick midway inside their own half, 27 on the clock, and they trail by a goal to nil. An own goal by Ayo Obileye.
Yeah, I'm just looking up if Tony Ralston is struggling a little bit. I'm just maybe look at the bench to see who could actually come on.
The other defender they've got in there.
Forrest has played back there a couple of times.
Or Bernabei, I guess, could play the wrong side, or maybe Taylor would come across playing his wrong side. We shall see. Ange Postecoglou, I'm sure, will have a plan for every eventuality, as the ball's not back to Joe Hart, who's been a spectator for the most part in this game so far, with Celtic absolutely dominating possession. I said they probably wouldn't have as much possession as they did against Aberdeen, but I suspect it rather has been somewhere close to 80%. Jota down the left flank, he goes up towards the edge of the penalty, plays it to Hatate. Jota once more, left-footed ball, and again Obileye looked awkward as he cleared that away. Did get it clear at least this time, and the ball's knocked up to Anderson. He's fouled by Cameron Carter-Vickers. Livingston will have a free kick just on the edge of the centre circle.
Yeah, he did better that time, Obalai, because you know he's the ball's flashing across, but he's just got his body in a better position. Even if it hits off him, at least it's going away from goal.
Yeah, that's the key. Ball's played up for Ralston. Takes a nudge in the back that time from Montano, but he does win it again. And Abada comes charging forward. Montano won't catch him. Forward for Kyogo, saved by Konovalov. First time hit from Kyogo on the turn, and Konovalov was out quickly to block, turn it round for a corner. Good bit of goalkeeping there.
Yeah, it was a wonderful play all round. Abada well, wonderfully. Yeah, great pace on the ball, right into Kyogo's path, and he can hit it first time, but give the keeper credit. He gets his angles right, makes himself big, and a good save.
Corner kick to Celtic, right hand side, taken by O'Reilly. Back the way it goes to McGregor. McGregor square for Hatate. Hatate closed down well by Omiyonga, and it breaks back to the halfway line where Taylor picks up and plays it to Starfield. Taylor once more, just about 15 yards inside the Livy half, plays it out to the left hand side, and it's Hatate. Hatate just touches it back to Jota, 35 yards from goal, left hand side. McGregor picks up once more. Hasn't been, I would say, as instrumental for Celtic in this first period as he was up at Pittodrie, but still heavily involved. The skipper. Starfield now out to the left hand side to Jota. Jota in off the left, looking to run it. Devlin looking to find a bit of space, slips it through. Hatate left hand side, tries to go for goal again. Konovalov's out to narrow the angle, and again it's behind for a corner kick. But this Livingston goal is under serial bombardment here.
Yeah, it was a good save. His timing coming off this time was absolutely bang on, and he spread himself, got away with it again, because you go down, it could easily slip under your body, but he makes the big save. Good play from Jota, and Hatate making that run forward, and Jota just picking him out, coming on the inside and just picking out a lovely little pass.
Here's McGregor charging down the left hand side into the penalty. He goes, cuts it back. O'Reilly will get there. This time it's blocked by Obalai, and all the way clear up out to Taylor. Starfield picks up centre circle and plays it to Carter Vickers. Celtic looking for a second. Abada up against Montano, plays a short ball to Ralston. It looks like he might have run off the ankle knock he took 5 minutes or so ago. Looks to be moving a little easier as Hatate just knocks it back to Carter Vickers. David Martindale and Marvin Bartley in conversation down below as the Celtic try to break through again, no doubt trying to come up with a plan to somehow get themselves up the park a bit. Abada plays it off Longridge. There will be another Celtic corner on this right hand side.
It's a Celtic rotation for the midfield as well. A couple of minutes ago it was McGregor to the byline. You know, we've seen Riley doing it. They're all at it. You know, that one will sit in, the other ones will just go and play. It's a real freedom that Ange Postecoglou gives them.
31 played, 1-0 Celtic. Obalai OG is the difference between the sides as O'Reilly, left-footed, steps up to take the corner kick from the right-hand side. In swinger, Konovalov gets two fists to it and knocks it out of the penalty area. Good punch on that occasion from the Russian goalkeeper. Here's Taylor picking up midway inside the Livy half, plays it square for his captain Callum McGregor. His second goal of the season and first in the league at the weekend. The match winner. Ralston now put under pressure from Montano. I'm not sure he appreciated that challenge, although it was a completely fair one. Celtic keep possession. It's Taylor now on the far side, tries to play it through the lines. It's cut out though. Omiyonga battling away, but he's lost out, and then he wins it again, but I think he's been penalised, indeed he has, for a shirt tug on Greg Taylor there. It'll be a free kick to Celtic about 20 yards inside the Livy half, and it's been utter Celtic domination.
Yeah, it's total control of the game and what they want to do. Obviously, Livingston are just working very hard. There's a great ball.
Yeah, into Kyogo, but he can't head it meaningfully towards goal. It's an easy take for Konovalov. It was a great pick out. It was McGregor that took the free kick quickly and found Kyogo, but just couldn't arch his head back to his neck, back the way to get the header on target to really trouble Konovalov, and it will remain 1-0 Celtic.
But all that is, Alistair, you just see it. Kyogo's looking at McGregor. He sees him, he knows exactly what he wants to do, and McGregor plays the pass. Really good.
Yeah, there's an intuition now, isn't there, among these Celtic players? They just know what the other one's going to do. Abada plays the early ball into the penalty. It's just beyond Kyogo. Jota's managed to keep it in play. It's the left-hand side of the penalty, outside of the ball, outside of the boot. The ball comes in, headed away by Obalai. Jota will go and collect once more out on the left flank. Feigns to play it in, then he slips it to Taylor. Taylor's cross comes off a Livingston defender. Behind for another Celtic corner, 33 in. Celtic 1, Livy 0. Corner from the left-hand side. Celtic were looking to take it quickly, but in the end, Taylor just leaves it for O'Reilly to trot across.
Well, we spoke about why Livingston go with 3 at the back. It's just numbers, isn't it? Just get numbers into areas that you can get a block or something on, and Celtic just cut you wide open.
O'Reilly's outswinger just over the head of Starfelt. It'll come for a tackle.
Be a penalty.
Blocked by the
That's got to be a penalty.
And certainly that was the claim. Play continues. Ewan Anderson didn't see it as a penalty. Stephen Kirkland's the VAR. He'll be having a look at it right now. Play rages on as Jota picks up on the angle of the box on the left-hand side, trying to get away from Devlin, who turns it behind for a corner. And now we'll see, is there going to be a stoppage as VAR check this? Ewan Anderson is indicating to Celtic just to hold on for now, as that is looked at.
Yeah,
Alan, did you think that came off the arm of Nicky Devlin?
I did initially. You know, we were, what are we, 50, 60 yards from it, but I just thought that his arms were up.
Well, the point is, if he didn't get that block in, I think the goalkeeper's in trouble, because there was pace in the ball, there was movement. The goalkeeper wasn't quite set when he struck it, and if it hit the target, then it could have been a goal. It depends where it hit him, and it depends how far out his arm was.
No penalty,
there you go.
as you can hear.
Well, that's good from VAR, because at least we know. And
quick decision as well, as Celtic take the corner.
That's what VAR's for.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want.
The Celtic crowd not happy, but Stephen Kirkland, the VAR, deciding. I assume that it didn't come off the arm at all, as Jota picks up on his chest. Wonderful control, couldn't bring it right under control, however, took it down in the chest, but then couldn't follow up with the touch in the right boot, and Livingston able to clear. 10 to the break, they trail by a goal to nil, and they have had to defend for much of the opening 35 minutes here, barely been in Celtic's half, it has to be said. Just the one goal Celtic have to show for it, looking to add to that before the interval. Omyonga though picks up for Livingston only momentarily, as Kyogo is back to win it back for Celtic.
That winning the ball back to is a crucial part of any team, and Celtic are probably one of the better teams you know, they've seen for a long time doing it. They work so hard getting the ball back when they lose a counter pressing.
The greatest ever Barcelona side were brilliant at it. They were the best at it, and, you know, but in Scotland, in terms of Celtic, you know, they win the ball high up the park.
Here's Jota left-hand side for Taylor. Into the penalty area he goes. Yeah. Oh, I was going to say get another corner, but it came back off Taylor, and it will be a Livingston goal kick on this occasion.
For all Celtic's, you know, possession, keeping control of the game, and that they've had to rely on an OG. You know, they haven't put the ball in the back of the net. They've had a couple of opportunities, I would assume, but nothing dramatic so far in the game. A lot of good play, getting to the byline, a lot of blocks from Livingston, but clear-cut chances, very few.
Yeah, Livingston have been pretty well organised, but they're under threat again. It's Jota advancing once more up to the left-hand side of the penalty area. Little drag back, doesn't quite get away with it. Livingston managed to win possession back. Penrice can't keep a hold of it though, and Bruce Anderson can't latch onto the loose ball.
That was Kyogo again, you know, almost running back 10-15 yards to win the ball back.
O'Reilly tries to thread the ball through, looking for Jota. He's cut out on that occasion. Montano picks up, he's blocked off by Abada, gets onto the loose ball, but Ralston slides in to knock it out of play. Livy throw just down in front of us, and the Livy left as Montano gets a word in his ear from David Martindale, who'll be pleased and relieved, I guess, that it's only 1-0, but otherwise his team have really been under the cosh. Yeah, just
look at Montano. He's a strong player, isn't he?
Yeah, big lad.
He's a big lad. Colombian.
Nice left foot.
Yeah.
But see, that's it. Livingston have got what, they've got 8 minutes to, plus what's ever added on to half time. If they can get there 1-0, you know, Davey will regroup again. I think they've worked their socks off, as they always do, Livingston. It's difficult. Celtic win the ball back high up the park. You know, they work tirelessly. But as long as it's 1-0, Livy will still fancy getting something out of the game.
Bruce Anderson chasing down the loose ball. Carter Vickers though is in control, plays it down the line. Abada hasn't been able to keep it in though. It will be a throw into Livingston inside the Celtic half. One of few they've had in this kind of territory as Montano takes it for Stephen Kelly. Kelly bursting down the left flank up against Ralston, slips it forward for Penrice. Penrice into the penalty area and well defended at the near post by Carter Vickers, but at the expense of a corner, and Livingston will have a chance now to send Fitzwater, Oberlai and Co up and try and get on the end of this and try and get back in level terms.
Absolutely, and that's what they're good at.
Yeah.
You know, it's been one of their strengths over the years, set pieces, and that's what they worked really well there to get initially the throw in and then the corner, and now they can put it into that area.
Former Rangers youth Stephen Kelly to take from the left-hand side into the penalty area. It comes. Joe Hart comes and punches well outside of his penalty area. The ball ends up as a Celtic player down, prone inside the penalty. The game's got to be stopped, and it has been by Ewan Anderson. Joe Hart came and came through a few bodies.
Ralston, is it?
And he wasn't taking any prisoners, Joe Hart, and maybe he took a bit of Anthony Ralston out there as well. Looks like he has taken a blow to the face, Tony Ralston, and the medics are required once more.
There's a wee bit with Carter Vickers in Montano, I think, is it?
Yeah. I don't know why, but the point about Joe Hart, that's where I want to see more of Joe Hart at times to come. Unfortunately, players get in his road, but he's got a good fist to it. Just takes away any issues when a goalkeeper comes and clears that ball away out of the danger zone.
Yeah, very commanding there, certainly. Joe Hart, his clean sheet at Pittodrie, incidentally, at the weekend was only second in the last 10 in the league. I mean, Celtic have got a good defensive record, by far the best in the league, only conceded 13, so slightly curious that he's only managed the 2 clean sheets in 10, but certainly he was in charge of the situation there. Tony Ralston, though, coming off second best in that challenge, and he's just coming off field of play once more. But he does look to have recovered from the ankle knock that he took earlier on, and Ralston is not the kind of player who's going to be put off by a couple of knocks, whether it's to the nose or to the ankle.
No, that's for sure. He's a strong boy, Tony Ralston also, and he's done remarkably well to get into this team when you consider that they almost released him, you know, at one point in his career.
He's a strong boy, but mentality wise as well as physically packaged.
Yeah, I like that in him, you know, and but what a contribution he made to the team also over the last couple of seasons.
Some vital goals. Remember the one at Ross County late on?
Yeah, that was a big one, wasn't it? It's the one that lives in the memory. Here he is taking the throw in deep in his own territory, back to Carter Vickers. Short ball to O'Reilly just at the edge of his own penalty area. Celtic haven't been in this kind of area all that much, and forward they come. Abada being dragged back by Montano. Eventually Montano gets a fair challenge in, but it was preceded by a pullback, and the Celtic fans letting Ewan Anderson know what they think of that. Montano penalised ultimately. 4 minutes to the break. It's Celtic 1, Livingston 0.
I think he's lucky not to get a yellow card there. He pulls him back.
It will be a free kick to Celtic about 20 yards inside the Livy half, right hand side, taken by McGregor to O'Reilly. O'Reilly goes back to Carter Vickers. Now Taylor out towards the left for Hatate, midway inside the Livy half, gets it back from Jota, then moves in off the left, plays it square for Ralston, still midway inside Livy territory. Abada takes a poor touch, allows Montano to nip in, and then Montano appears to be kind of hauled to the ground there.
The obstruction.
No, it's not been given. The officials have given the throw-in to Celtic. I think Montano was hard done by on that particular occasion, and has a glance and a little word with the assistant referee, who was only a couple of yards away from it, and David Martindale has a bit of a moan about the situation to the fourth official, who's Gavin Duncan down there. Here is Abada up against Montano once more, in slides Longridge to help him out.
Montano has a grip of him. As he goes by him there, he just pulls him and puts Abada off.
Yeah, gets away with that one. It's a good battling. One of you said earlier on, it will be a good battle, and it has been. It's a good contest. Both are pacey.
If you look at the mentality of the South Americans, look at Argentina, look at those two players, they shall not pass, is right.
Montano's certainly got Colombian heritage, but he speaks with a broad English accent, I can tell you. I think
it was instilled in him when he was young.
Imagine. Here's Hatate, left-hand side for Celtic, almost at the goal line. Devlin, though, sticking with him and winning the ball back, and plays it to Omiyonga, right-hand side for Livy. 2.5 minutes of the first half remaining. Celtic have one possession back, and it's Jota inside the penalty. It goes for goal. Cannavaro will gather that one in, just a couple of yards off his goal line. It was a comfortable take in the end. Jota going for goal. And it remains Celtic 1, Livingston 0.
Yeah, I'm surprised he went for that shot from that angle, because there was a little bit of space. I thought he could have driven with the ball a little bit and committed defender and see what was going to happen, but he took on the shot, didn't quite get enough on it.
Davy's going mad at his goalie. He's going berserk. He keeps kicking it this side. Celtic have got Ralston, Carter Vickers and Starfelt. The smallest player in the back four is Taylor, and he kicks to the opposite side of the pitch.
There'll be words with the goalkeeper coach too, I'm sure, after this.
I saw someone having a word with Konovalov in one of the stoppages of play a few moments ago, and I wonder if that was maybe the message they were trying to get on. If it was, then maybe David Martindale's Russian's not what it might be. Livingston knock the ball high in the air. Montano challenges McGregor. It breaks the way of Abada, middle of the park. Taylor plays it to O'Reilly, midway inside the Livingston half. Ralston out the right hand side, cuts it back. Abada tries to poke it goal. It's a good challenge by Sean Kelly. Comes back to Ralston into the penalty area, away by Oberlai. Good defending there from Livingston. 90 seconds left of the first half. Celtic will come again. It's Taylor, middle of the park, back to Starfelt inside the centre circle. Now it's McGregor, just out to the right hand side for Ralston.
It's a thankless task for Anderson, but that's where they missed Newbley, because the ball's played up. Newbley 6'3", big lad, holds it in, loves the battle. That's the difference between him and Anderson. Anderson's all pace.
There's Montano trying to feed it forward for Anderson, but Carter Vickers there ahead of him just to touch it back to Joe Hart, and Hart gets it back to Carter Vickers. You're right, Alan, it's a thankless task for Bruce Anderson up there. He's working his socks off, but he's not really had any joy whatsoever as the ball's fed forward by Celtic. It'll break for Kyogo out to the left hand side. He plays it to Taylor inside the final minute of the opening 45. Gavin Duncan just waiting with the board to show us how much stoppage time is to be played as Livingston get the ball back. Devlin has sold Fitzwater short there. Kyogo in with the challenge. It breaks for Jota on the edge of the box. Omyonga working hard to try and steer the ball away to something resembling safety. Celtic still have it though, and it's Ralston about 15 yards inside. The Livy has a wonderful ball for Abada. Abada cross goal! Kyogo for Celtic. It's number 2. A defence splitting pass from Ralston. A wonderful cross from Abada, and there is Kyogo to notch number 12 for the season. It's Celtic 2, Livingston 0.
That's exactly the goal they've been and the movement they've been looking for in this first half. Brilliant pass from Ralston inside the fullback caught square, couldn't make up because Abada had to run on him then, and the first time ball crossed that 6-yard box, and there was Kyogo in front of the defender, back of the net. Perfect goal, you've got to say, Alan.
Yeah, it was brilliant, and that's Abada involved in both goals, and that's the one they've been trying to do, upside the inside of the wing backs if they can play the ball for Abada's pace. He whips it across, and Kyogo makes a trademark striker's run, front post, flicks it into the back of the net. For me, that's a game over, Pat. That's
absolutely four passes, forward pass, switch of play, ball played in control, ball played into the full back, first time across, first time finish, perfect.
Great.
Well worth watching on Sports Scene this evening. The pass from Ralston, I've got to say, I just love it. I mean, it's so incisive, and it absolutely takes 3 Livingston players at least out. Here come Livy at the end of the first half, though, looking to get a goal back. It's Devlin, slips it past Joe Hart. He's got a goal back. That is astonishing from Livingston. They've barely been up the park, and there's Nicky Devlin. Celtic only moments from going 2-0 up, and Nicky Devlin getting on the end of the pass from Bruce Anderson, silencing Celtic Park. The skippers pulled them back to 2-1. Celtic 2, Livingston 1.
Well, it's incredible, absolutely incredible to think that Celtic were 2-0 up going into half time, 45 minutes gone on the clock, and a ball just played up, and it was more strength than anything else from Nicky Devlin holding off Taylor to almost run in and just flick the ball past Joe Hart from about 7-8 yards out. Wonderful moment for Livingston to get themselves back in this game, because at 2-0 it looked as if the game was almost running away from them.
Yeah, and it's still going to be very difficult for Livingston, but it gives them hope. They've got they're within 1 goal again.
Here's Jota looking to add another goal in injury time, but that's saved by Konovalov. That goal came 2 minutes into injury time, and it's Nicky Devlin's second of the season, his first in the league, and it gives Livingston a lifeline.
And you just touched on it about Joe Hart with the clean sheets. It's another one, goal conceded. Didn't have any chance. It was good play by Devlin, very persistent, plays the 1-2, gets on the end of it. It's good strength, and pokes the ball home.
Yeah, I mentioned Sports Scene is on at 1:45, but it's worth staying up for. BBC One Scotland this evening. 3 goals for you already, and the first half not yet at a close. We are into the 4th minute of injury time. I didn't see the 4th official's board, but I think it went up more or less when that Kyogo goal went in. But it's been a good first half, dominated by Celtic, but that Nicky Devlin goal back just gives them something to think about at half time and something to cling on to for Livingston as the ball's knocked away by Obilai and out for a throw in this near side. Almost 5 minutes of stoppage time played. They did have that pretty lengthy stop for the treatment to Anthony Ralston, particularly the ankle knock he took, so play still going on as Starfelt picks up left hand side for Celtic, turns back the way to Carter Vickers. Celtic's defence won't be happy at the manner in which they lost that defence.
No, absolutely not, especially after you go 2-0 up. There's a lack of concentration, there's just a lack of proper defending.
Here's Hatate, left hand side of the penalty area, step over, gets to the goal line, Devlin in the way behind for a corner.
How many times do we see it though, Pat? We spoke about it when their team scores a goal, they then concede the goal.
Yep.
Shouldn't happen really, but they switch off.
Devlin's still down. I think he might have taken that in one of the more tender parts of his body as he deflected the cross behind for the latest Celtic corner. Livingston physio's ready to come on if required, just rather gingerly getting to his feet, helped up by Hatate.
Not great, that, it's got to be said. Still brings tears to my eyes, things like that.
Jota waiting to take the corner kick from the left hand side. Celtic looking to restore their 2-goal advantage before the interval. 2-1 they lead. Jota in, met by Carter Vickers, and Konovalov able to take that under a bit of pressure from Kyogo. And there's Ewan Anderson's half-time whistle. Very, very decent first half, as I say, dominated by Celtic. And they got the opening goal midway through that first period. A bit of good fortune about it, I guess, in the sense that Abada's cross came off Ayo Obilai rather awkwardly, and he diverted it past his own goalkeeper and into the back of his own net to give Celtic the advantage. Celtic continued to press for further goals. Ralston had a shot turned round the post by Konovalov, who then was out quickly to block twice in quick succession, once from Kyogo and then from Hatate, and he also saved a Jota shot not too long before the interval, but he could do nothing on the stroke of half time, on the stroke of 45 at least, when Ralston cut through the defence. A wonderful pass to find Abada. Abada squared it across goal, and there was Kyogo making the near post run, and the first time finish past Konovalov to make it 2-0. It looked like game over, as I think Paki Bonner said at the time, but 2 minutes later into injury time, they went Anderson up the park for more or less the first time in the game, slipped it to his captain Nicky Devlin, who in turn slipped it past Joe Hart, who couldn't keep it out, and that made it 2-1, a lifeline for Livingston to go into the second half. Maybe not quite game over just yet. Half time, Celtic 2, Livingston 1.
Celtic versus Livingston.
The Scottish Premiership.
From BBC Radio Scotland.
So half-time here at Celtic Park. Celtic, Tom English looked to be in total control. 2-0 up before that late strike from Nicky Devlin. Looking at the stats, 81% possession for the home side, 15 shots, 8 of these on target. Looking at Livingston, 19% possession, 1 shot, 1 on target, 1 goal. So Davy Martindale, despite being in the back foot, he would have expected that. He'll be relatively happy going in at half-time.
Yeah, I'd say he will be. You know, Celtic have bossed the game. You'd expect them to boss the game. I've enjoyed bits and pieces of Celtic's performance, Abada, Ralston, but it was one-way traffic, and it was actually pretty boring. And it's like I've been in this movie a million times before. Celtic, great attitude, going up against a 5-man defence, 10 men, Livingston men behind the ball nearly at all times. Break us down. Well, they broke them down. Own goal, broke them down again, 2-0. And I think that the goal back from Livingston is just Celtic are caught cold. They weren't expecting anything from Livingston. They're just asleep at the wheel, and they get suckered. I can't imagine that's going to have any bearing on the game. If you get 1 attack and 1 goal, that's a bit of a freak situation. Celtic will probably score another one, I imagine, in the second half. But it's I'm looking at it, Kenny, and I'm thinking about the Aberdeen game against Celtic on Saturday. I'm going, where's the joy in this? If you're Ange Postecoglou, and obviously he loves the job, he loves the club, but if not every week, but many weeks of your league season, it's a grim battle against 10 and 11
There's no
men.
challenge.
Where's the challenge? Same challenge every single week. Not every single week, because some teams will put it up to them, but a lot of weeks, too many weeks. Here's a manager who wants to test himself. He wants his players to be tested, to be presented with different challenges. And too many times during a league season, it's the same challenge. I mean, it's a bit boring, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the biggest challenge, Alan, I could think they've had this season was through Tynecastle. That was a fantastic game.
It was a great game, but Livingston give them a better game at Livingston as well because of the pitch. It certainly helps Livingston. And I get what Tom's saying. The Celtic have got a full team of internationals out there tonight. It's very difficult for Livingston, and if Livingston come here, play 4-4-2 and get picked off, and I've been in myself, you can get beat 5 and 6, and that's the last thing you want. This is Livingston at Parkhead. It's not Aberdeen at home at Pittodrie. Where Aberdeen are, all due respect to Livingston, are a bigger club. And I would expect that of a Livingston to go, and as they've done tonight, they've made it difficult. They've managed to hang in the game, getting a goal in the 47th minute gets them back in it again. It was me that said the game's over at 2-0, because I just could never see Livingston scoring 2 goals. They've got one. It'd be great if they got another one, but it's going to be very difficult for them. But I know what Tom's saying, but what do you want to do, Tom? There's nothing we can do. Celtic signed international class players.
There is nothing to be done. I mean, Livingston, they have a Tuppence Halfpenny, have a budget. You can't expect. I would expect more of Aberdeen last weekend, and we got more from them last night. Fair enough. I don't expect Livingston. They can't. It's just the way things are. Celtic have all the budget. They have all the top players.
Are you saying Ange Postecoglou will find elements of this boring when he comes up against this? Is that what you're saying?
I think he loves the club. Challenged. He loves the support. But I would imagine a player and a manager of him who's ambitious, who's clearly very, very good. How many seasons of this? How much is he going to be fulfilled by this? For how long will he be fulfilled by this before he says, you know what? I've kind of done that.
As long as they qualify for the Champions League?
Yeah, but, Champions League is a little pocket of time during the course of your football season. Brendan Rodgers moved on from here. He was guaranteed Champions League football for as long as he wanted here, pretty much, or a shot at the Champions League at any rate. That wasn't enough to keep him here. So, I don't know. I think
Tom is too early to be this discussion in his reign after what he's built here and what he's done.
Pat, don't misunderstand what I'm saying. He's doing a brilliant job here. Phenomenal job, and he is building something. But I'm looking at this, if it's a similar challenge a lot of weeks of the season, I'm trying to second guess Ange Postecoglou, thinking I need something a little bit different than trying to break down Livingston and Motherwell and a lot of these other defences every second week or every third week. I want a little bit more than this. Can you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can understand it, but I don't know about the timing of this discussion, because we're still halfway through a season here. He's in his second season, and he's got a task.
He's trying to stir something up, isn't he?
No.
Yes, he is a wee bit.
No, I'm not. It's an honestly held view. I'm not trying to stir up anything. It's just this is pretty easy. And I know when the score is 2-1. But what are you saying? It's many shots, 15, 16, 17 shots?
Listen, I expect
70
from Livingston to play this way. I didn't expect it from Aberdeen, to be perfectly honest.
And I would I'm not blaming Livingston at all.
Aberdeen, Hibs, Hearts, those type of teams, and that's been the case when we played also. The smaller teams had to hang in there. They had to come to Celtic Park. I remember many times playing against teams here, St Mirren, we beat them 6 and so on. Other times we go away from home, it was difficult trying to get through, but these games are the ones that will determine where the league goes. If you have to get results against the smaller teams, and you would expect the big teams to give you a challenge. And I think we were so disappointed the weekend with Aberdeen because he didn't challenge at home, and that's a fair argument. I wouldn't argue against that. And as a manager, you're a manager of Celtic Football Club. Jockstein had the same issues. Go back to all the managers over there. They all had the same issues. They have to win these type of games. I don't think he's bored. I think he's got to come up with a plan now at half time to ensure that he gets 3 points. And the big game coming up against Rangers on the 2nd of January will be the one that he will treasure, and he will work towards that. There are bigger games than playing against Livingston. I wouldn't say he's demotivated on this particular game here. I'm not sure if that stacks up, Tom.
I'm not saying he's demotivated at all. That's your word. That's not my word. I think he's totally motivated. He loves this place. But I'm asking the question: how long before he gets
demotivated?
No, before he gets bored. Before he gets bored.
Brendan Rodgers. But I would argue that, despite what Brendan Rodgers said, Ange Postecoglou's got far more of a connection with this football club already than Brendan Rodgers. I think we're trying an awful lot for Ange Postecoglou to move on from this football club.
I don't know about that. I agree with you about Postecoglou's connection with Celtic. Absolutely more than Rodgers, for sure. But he's also an ambitious football manager.
Of course.
He wants more than this. And if
that day will come, Tom. That day will come, and I think all managers go through. They're not going to be here. You're either successful, you move on, you're sacked, or you, by choice, somebody comes in and takes you away. Very seldom will you get a manager staying at a club now in the way that Alex Ferguson or any of them. That doesn't happen, Alan. It doesn't really happen. So that day will come, but I don't think it's the right time against Livingston at home halfway through the second season to be talking on that manner.
Why not? We can talk about anything we like, Pat.
Of course you can, but
I don't want to upset your sensitivities about this.
All right, so who's the new Celtic manager, Tom?
Well, Biscuits.
Come on.
Read my piece tomorrow. Exclusively revealed.
He's been typing away frantically there, I'll tell you.
Honestly.
No, I've been looking at it and I'm thinking, this is great for Celtic, and it's another a walk in the park. But how many walk in the parks can you have before you get a little bit kind of you want the next thing?
But Tom, has this not been the same for over 30 odd years since Dundee United and Aberdeen won the leagues? Have we not had this in Scottish football for over 30 years now?
Yeah, we have, and managers move on.
Have we seen this level of dominance, Al? I mean, you look at this tonight. I know Livingston got that goal, but it's just been one-way traffic. You look at Aberdeen, a side who you'd expect to put a challenge up to Celtic. Yeah. They offered nothing at the weekend. Hearts, as they've given them by far and away their biggest challenge this season. So I do get where Tom's coming from.
Do you think that Barcelona don't play against teams and have 80% in Spain in the National League, and at times they don't have 80% of possession?
I would suggest, Pat, that perhaps more teams would put it up to them there. I mean, I can really think of Hearts. And obviously Rangers, I can think of Hearts this season, but they've not had much of a challenge. I mean, they're total domination.
They'll be 9 points ahead in the league again tonight. It's brilliant for Celtic. They deserve it. I'm convinced they will go on and they'll win the league. They might win it by more than 9 points. It could be into double figures by the time the season is done. They could win it. They could win a treble.
So do you think then the manager should walk away because they've won the league by 12 points?
No, Pat,
I'm not saying he's walking away.
How do I have to explain this to get through to you?
They might entice someone else.
You brought it up, by the way. You brought it up.
Yeah, but listen to what I'm saying.
Right, we'll break away for a minute. There's a big tennis tournament on in Aberdeen. Let's cross to our reporter and join our reporter, Kerry Nidsan, is there. What's happening, Kerry?
Hi Ken, if you want to quieten Tom English up, just say Champions League. I think that's why the manager there at Celtic is going to hang about for a couple more seasons yet, because that's where he wants to prove himself. That will sort that argument. On to the tennis. Well, Andy Murray is on court right now. He's 4-2 up against Jack Draper. This is the exhibition event, the Battle of the Brits, Scotland v England at tennis, organised by Andy's big brother Jamie. It was supposed to be on this time last year. COVID put paid to that, so it's on in the P&J Arena. Nearly 7,000 fans, and what a welcome they gave to Andy Murray when he came on court, and he's playing pretty well as well. Just to put it in context, Jack Draper is one of the tour's most improved players. He went up over 200 places in the rankings this year. He's just outside the top 40, and Andy Murray at the moment is at 4-2 up, serving at 15 all. Earlier on we had Dan Evans beating young Aidan McHugh 6-4, 6-2. We were wondering about the presence of Ali McCoist. He's supposed to be the Scotland team captain, but so far no sign of the Mercurial McCoist. We know he's famed for his lateness, but he's pushing it. So Paul Lawrie, the 1999 Open Golf champion, he's the captain of Team Scotland. Against him is Ian Holloway in his black pork pie hat with his distinct Bristolian accent. Halfway through Dan Evans' win over Aidan McHugh, I clearly heard him say the referees had a shocker here. Well, in fairness, I think he was pretty kind to Dan Evans, but it's been entertaining so far. The tennis has been good. Andy Murray back from his training block in Miami with Ivan Lendl. Looks good, looks sharp. 4-2 up, 30-15. We'll have another session tomorrow in the afternoon and in the evening as well. So it's 2 singles today. We've got doubles tomorrow and Andy Murray on again at night. And then evening time, it's Andy and Jamie Murray together against Salisbury and Skupska. That will round things off tomorrow evening. An emotional farewell potentially for the brothers, because it's unlikely they'll ever play again together, certainly in Scotland. So that should be an absolute cracker.
Chance straight to the goalkeeper. That is one of the saves of the season.
This winter, catch all the biggest games.
Glasgow meets some inroad. Edinburgh are indeed in for a try.
And the biggest derbies.
Comes off a Rangers man and out for a Celtic corner.
That's an amazing game, incredible.
It's the only show in town in Old Reekie, the Edinburgh derby.
Where there's live action, there's sports sound.
Got to be.
It's a chance for St Johnstone and it's the opening goal.
And it's in the back of the net.
And it's 3 for Aberdeen.
On BBC Radio Scotland.
So we are live from Celtic Park this evening. Celtic 2-1 up on Livingston. Obalai own goal, and then a fantastic move rounded off by Kyogo at the near post. But just a minute later, Livy back in the game. A rare breakaway, 1 shot on target, 1 goal. Nicky Devlin with that one. Can they get anything else from this game? It's been 80% possession for the home side. I'm sure that's going to continue pretty much the same in the second half. Let's get back to Pat Bonner, to Alan Preston and to Alistair Lamont.
Thanks again, Kenny. Change at half-time for Livingston, and on is coming Morgan Boys, and it's Ayo Obalai who's come off. Alan, what do you think? Is that tactical, do you think? I mean, he's not having maybe his best game.
Yeah, it's not his best game, but I think he's maybe just taking him off, Davey. Maybe might have picked up a knock in that first half. You never know. Maybe he was coming into the game not feeling the best either. But he's a big imposing figure. And didn't have his best 45 minutes, Alistair.
No, he didn't, but he's still a player I don't expect to see substituted, I have to admit. But what do I know, as so many people have said over the years, Celtic unchanged for the second 45. They have been excellent at home. 19 wins from their last 20 home league games. The 1-1 draw with Rangers, the only blip in that particular run. And they've won their last 9 in a row here, scoring 32 prior to tonight in those 9 games. That's more than 3.5 per game. Here come Livingston at the start of the second half, trying to get back in level terms, but Joe Hart comes off his line, clutches that one and bowls it out to Abada, who's up against Omionga, who goes down under Abada's challenge, wins the free kick. It'll be a free kick to Celtic.
Yeah, it was good goalkeeping from Joe Hart again, commanding, coming out into and around that penalty spot, clutching the ball, taking his team, the pressure away from his team just at the start of the second half.
I mean, Ange Postecoglou, I guess again, like Saturday, would have been pretty pleased, Packy, with the way his side went about their business in the first half. So the dressing room chat at half-time would have been, I would imagine, overwhelmingly positive, but he wouldn't have been pleased at the way they lost that goal.
No, and I think that was an error, lack of concentration. Obviously good play from Nicky Devlin, using his body strength to almost keep Taylor at bay to get past Joe Hart, but certainly it was a lack of concentration from Celtic, and that'll disturb me, because I thought even at the weekend against Aberdeen, when that ball popped out anywhere out round the halfway line, Starfelt and Carter Vickers was on top of it. They never give any of the strikers a chance to get a hold of the ball, and that's critical when you push your full-backs forward and you've maybe got one holding midfield player. They've got to be strong, but they didn't command that situation when they lost a goal today, and that'll annoy him.
There's a booking there for Stefan Omionga of Livingston for a pull back seconds Celtic build in half. I have to offer my apologies to Packy Bonner because I did name
got it wrong again, Al.
Yes, not for the first time. I did say that he'd said it was game over at 2-0 when Alan put his hand up and said it was him. Back to 2-1 now though, just seconds after that pronouncement, and although Celtic will still be heavy favourites to go on and take the 3 points, Livingston have given themselves a chance going into this.
I think the point that Al was making there, you know, 2-0 half time going in.
Yeah, I think had a shot at goal.
Yeah, no shot at goal, that you would be actually thinking that this game is dead and buried unless Livingston does something in the second half. To get a goal back so quickly after Celtic scored in the second, I think that was probably shocked the whole stadium. And it gives them a real chance. They can stick in, keep doing what they were doing in the first half, and defend well. And who knows, a chance might come their way again.
Celtic just have the throw-in over on the far side. Thought it came off Carter Vickers last actually, but he takes the throw-in quickly, and Starfelt gets it moving for Taylor. 3.5 minutes gone in this second period. Celtic 2, Livingston 1. Here's Jota, who's looked lively throughout, but that's a poor pass from him, easily cut out by Sean Kelly. Breaks the way of Starfelt. Starfelt tries to get it back to Joe Hart. He's rather sliced his clearance. Fortunately for Hart, there's no Livingston player up putting pressure on him. It wasn't a good...
He was lucky to slice it to where it went to, actually.
It wasn't a good pass. And there's another misplaced pass, and that's by Taylor. Picked up by Penrice. Challenge made by Ralston, but it's flipped out to Montagno on the left-hand side, just outside the penalty area. Montagno goes for goal, and it's wide of Joe Hart's right-hand post. But a couple of moments of slackness from Celtic, and that won't please their manager, who stands...
with no expression.
As usual.
He hasn't had any expression at all during this game.
Or any game.
It hasn't changed.
Here's a Tati down the left-hand side, but Celtic won't want to take their foot off the gas. Jota across goal, well taken by Konovalov at his near post. Smothers that one before Kyogo can pounce, and it remains Celtic 2, Livingston 1.
That's what they're looking for, Kyogo to make that front post run again. He just didn't get there. Really good play by Jota again, dragging it on his left foot. Good ball across. Good goalkeeping.
Just going back to Montana's effort on goal, I think if it'd be better to strike that across the goalkeeper. He had players in there, but he's tried to beat him at his near post, and it was well wide in the end.
There's a ball over the top again for Bruce Anderson to chase, and Joe Hart got there just before him, and just a couple of chinks of light in the Celtic defence for Livingston to try and exploit just in the opening few minutes. But that is a good ball from Jota to find Taylor, and now it's Kyogo, edge of the penalty area, out to Abada, right hand side of the box, across goal. No takers again inside the 6-yard box. O'Reilly was closest to getting on the end of it, but couldn't do so, and it goes all the way behind for a Livingston goal kick. Celtic 2, Livy 1.
Yeah, beautiful pass, another side of Jota that we don't see all the time, because he picked out a brilliant pass that particular occasion, and when a ball came to Abada, he did the right thing, blasted across that 6-yard box where he got his initial, or I think it was the second goal from it, and I think it was O'Reilly just coming in, just couldn't get on the end of it.
Closing down that time from O'Reilly prevents Longridge getting the clearance. It's out for a throw-in to Livy, about 5 or 6 yards away from their own corner flag, across on the far side. The Livy left. 2-1 they trail. Never won here, as I mentioned earlier on, but their only defeat in the last 6 games was against Celtic. They've won 3 and drawn 2 since then, so they have been in pretty decent form in the run-up to the World Cup break, and sitting in 6th coming into tonight's match. Did have the opportunity to go 3rd if they were able to win this one. Celtic have it.
Look how hard they work, Alistair. Look at Livingston, how hard they work. Celtic have got a really good side, international players, as we touched on at half-time, but Livingston, they're tireless. They just keep going and going and going.
Kyogo can't bring the ball under control for once. Livingston can emerge with possession from the edge of their own penalty. Starfelt fouls Anderson, and Ewan Anderson, the referee, wants a word with the Swedish defender. Free kick to Livy inside the centre circle. Starfelt will get a talking to.
And that's the kind of play that Anderson has to do. You know, make himself a nuisance, getting in front. Starfelt, Carter Vickers, try and win the ball if he can. Very difficult. Win free kicks, get his team up the park. Good centre forward play.
Free kick then to Livy, just inside their own half, to be taken by Jackson Longridge. Out to this near side comes Nicky Devlin, who got the goal that brought Livy back into the game just before the interval. Ball's aimed up towards the edge of the box. It's Fitzwater who wins the first header, but McGregor's there to take the second. Stephen Kelly picks up 25 yards from the Celtic goal. He tries to slot it forward for Penrice, but just off target, and it goes behind for a Celtic goal kick, which is quickly taken.
That's the ball boys that Lee Johnson was on about again. The world-class ball boys. The ball's in and away.
Ralston again, just when he played that pass, looked to just be a little bit uncomfortable on the ankle that he injured in the first period, just hobbling somewhat, but Celtic come forward. Down goes Hattati on the edge of the penalty area. No free kick given as Konovalov hacks it high but not very far, and Hattati picks up once more left hand side, plays it short to McGregor back to Hattati, a couple of yards in from the touchline on the left, in line almost with the penalty area. Jota tries to get away from Fitzwater, but just overdoes it there, and then takes Sean Kelly out of play as he tried to knock the ball across goal, and it's going to be a Livingston free kick in the end. No, he's just going to give a goal kick. Yeah.
Just checking how Kelly is, but he's off the park.
Yeah.
So they want the game played on.
Yeah, he did look to be taken out of play, to be fair, but Celtic fans obviously thinking that Sean Kelly's milking that one. 9 minutes of the second half gone.
Ralston's down.
Yeah, I did think just when he played the square pass a couple of minutes ago, he just looked uncomfortable, and I wonder if Celtic are going to be forced into a change. There is a player getting stripped down
Bernabe,
there.
is it?
Bernabe, yeah.
Yeah, maybe Taylor might go across that side and Bernabe on the left, or vice versa.
Yeah, that would look to be the likelihoods. The young Argentinian fullback certainly looks like he's going to come on for Ralston, and Celtic will hope to get Josip Juranovic back from international duty sooner rather than later, with another game on the horizon. St Johnstone here on Saturday.
Yeah, I think the difficulty for Tony Ralston in this one, he's probably twisted his ankle. Initially he could run it off, but then half time comes, it can almost stiffens up again, and it's hard to get it going.
We've all been there, Pat. Not nice.
That substitution is going to be made. Bernabe ready to enter the fray for his 9th Celtic appearance to replace Tony Ralston. Well, he played a huge part in that second goal for Celtic.
That was a beautiful pass.
Ralston.
Beautiful weighted pass, and the direction, and it was just on the carpet. So Abada just had to come on to it and just play it first time across that 6-yard box. Perfect execution.
It is Taylor who's going out to the right hand side to play right full back. Bernabe slotting into his usual left back position. As Konovalov takes the goal kick, won by Starfelt in the air above Anderson, headed high by Boyes, the half-time substitute for Livingston. Celtic pick up once more through Jota, turns away from Sean Kelly, back to McGregor. Hattati does well to keep control of the ball. It was a difficult bouncing ball to take, and he gets it to Taylor, who in turn plays it out to Abada, right hand side, running at Longridge, edge of the penalty on the right hand side. Tries to play in Taylor. Taylor still looking to get forward. Now he's changed positions. Referee getting Callum McGregor's way there as he looked to pick up the pass. The Celtic captain wasn't enamoured particularly by Ewan Anderson's involvement there, and then Greg Taylor's gone down off the ball, and it looks like Montano, who blocked him off, has been given the yellow card for his transgression there. It will be a Celtic free kick. 56 minutes on the clock, and it's still Celtic 2, Livingston 1 as it was at half time.
I think it's Abada who's went into that. It's had a few run-ins with Abada today. But
it's been fascinating actually, that duel, isn't it, over that.
See, with Taylor left-footed being in the right back area, his first pass will always be out to Abada, because he's always wanting to play it with his left foot. Abada should be sick of getting the ball.
Free kick taken. McGregor to Starfelt inside the Livingston half. Every player inside the Livingston half barring Joe Hart. As Celtic pick up once more. Played forwards. A good challenge there by Longridge to knock it out of play. Throw in quickly taken. Celtic trying to work the opportunity, but Livingston close them down, and Longridge plays it away. And now it's Penrice trying to slide it down the left flank, but Carter Vickers read that one, steps in, and it's now back with Joe Hart midway inside his own half, plays it to Bernabei for his first touch of the game. 57 minutes played, 2-1 to Celtic. You listen to Sports Sound on BBC Radio Scotland Extra, on Sounds, on 810 medium wave and on digital, as Taylor picks up midway inside the Livy half. Starfelt now out to the left hand side for Jota. Jota up against the Livy goal scorer and captain Nicky Devlin. Bernabei's misplaced his pass, picked up though by McGregor. Bernabei once more closed down by Omuyonga. He's run it out of play, the young Argentine, who would no doubt have been celebrating his country's World Cup victory along with most of us Messi fans, Alan Preston included, I imagine.
Brilliant. Best team won.
Well, as a young player also, you're looking at your role models, aren't you? You're looking at some of those players, for example, McAllister down at Brighton, that could he someday step into that level? It's fascinating for these young players.
Out for a throw-in down in this near side to Livingston. Livy right to be taken by Nicky Devlin, just in front of the Livy technical area, about 10 yards inside the Celtic half. Plays it into Stephen Kelly, back with Devlin, and now Fitzwater will play it square to Boys. Midway now inside his own half. There's a little Cruyff turn away from Kyogo, back with Fitzwater, and Boys once more, edge of his own penalty area. Plays it out to the left-hand side. It's a good ball, takes it on the chest as Montano, but miscontrols it, and Taylor steps in and finds O'Reilly. O'Reilly just looks to reverse it for Kyogo, but it was well read by Boys, who's looked good since he's come on. Now it's Montano stepping forward over a halfway line. Still he's going. McGregor steps in and fouls him, and it will be a Livingston free kick. Well, they had to stop him some way because Montano was charging forward, and it will be a Livy free kick.
You just wonder, when does Davey think, right, you know what, 2-1, what have we got, half an hour to go? They start to bring on my new Blaze, my Holtz, my Pittman.
Yeah, I think he's talking about that probably right now, because I see him over talking to his assistant on the bench.
They've got Hibernian away on Saturday. Alan, you were wondering if maybe they felt that was almost the more important game, but here they are looking to try and get back on level terms, and Joe Hart comes to the edge of his 6-yard box, and under a bit of pressure from his own defender, Carl Starfelt, takes the free kick from Stephen Kelly and gathers it ultimately pretty comfortably and rolls it out to Rio Hatate. Livingston probably haven't made enough of these rare set-piece opportunities they've had. I think we're all agreed that it's one of their best opportunities as Bruce Anderson gives chase down the right flank. Starfelt there first, gets it back to Hart. Hart takes a rather uncomfortable touch, but manages to play it away back to Starfelt. Starfelt looking to play his way out of danger and picks a nice pass for Callum McGregor round the Livy press, and up to the halfway line they come, and out to the right hand side it goes to Abada, just a few yards inside the Livy half. Gets it back to Taylor. Abada once more infield looking for McGregor. It's a poor pass and McGregor hasn't collected it, and here's Sean Kelly driving forward for Livingston. Celtic looking to get numbers back. Kelly has to hold it up, then tries to play it to Montano. It's not a great pass, and the momentum goes out of the counter-attack. It looked like they might have something on there just for a moment, but Celtic have it back. O'Reilly was looking for Bernabei, I'm sure, but it comes to Jota instead, crossing the halfway line on this left-hand side, near side. As we look at it, Jota's little flick doesn't come off, and Celtic haven't been as fluid and fluent at the start of the second half, Paki Bonner.
No, and it's been a slack play in many ways. Has allowed Livingston to grow in a bit more confidence higher up the pitch. I think Martindale is disgusted he didn't get a free kick there.
No, it was never a foul. Never.
Bruce Anderson threw himself to the ground so dramatically. Scottish players just are not good at diving. I mean, I think we should just accept that. It's not in their makeup. Although there's a player going down. Kyogo just caught Fitzwater as he tried to clear the ball, and the Japanese striker might find himself in Ewan Anderson's notebook. Yes, indeed he does.
Yeah, late, just clipped him as he's played the ball away. Is always that tricky one, but Kyogo, yellow carded. But no, it hasn't. You're right. Sorry, it hasn't really flowed for Celtic in the second half. And they'll be disappointed with that. Obviously the change now with Taylor going over onto the right hand side too, and that just the balance has gone out of the team a little bit, hasn't it?
But give credit to Livingston. I think they've stepped forward, they've been in the game, they're closing Celtic down. Celtic don't have the same amount of possession that they had in that opening period, and I think Ange Postecoglou will make changes as well. He's probably not happy with what he's seeing.
Just looking at the way that Boys has played up against Kyogo, Alan, I'm just wondering, is the change possibly been made because he's that little bit more mobile? It looks like he can live with Kyogo's movement that bit better than Oblai, perhaps.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Morgan Boys is a good player. You know, he's at Liverpool as a kid, come up here over a year ago now, and he's very good left-sided player. He got sent off at Ibrox, and that really harmed him. But you can see what a good player he is, and you're probably right. You know, it's not a physical presence that Oblai would like. A big lad like Giacomakis playing against him, it's Kyogo. He's small and it's probably caused him concern, as where Boyce is more nimble and can compete against him.
Challenged by Omionga to dispossess Bernabei. Jota comes in to help his teammate out though, right on the goal line, gets the cross in, back post, it's over a couple of Celtic players. O'Reilly will go and retrieve it, gets it back to Taylor with a little cute ball in for Hatate, who couldn't gather it in his stride, and Celtic are going to make changes, at least a couple of them down there. David Turnbull is going to be the first to come on, and Sead Haksabanovic is also going to make his return after missing the weekend through injury. And first player to be replaced is Jota.
Yeah, it's not been a great night for Jota. He looked a little bit sluggish at times tonight. Great ability on the balls. He picked out a fantastic pass. I think it was into Taylor just a wee while ago, and that shows his quality. But just he's off it a little bit. So Haksabanovic on in the left-hand side, and Turnbull replacing Hatate right in the middle of the pitch.
And he's replaced by Celtic's number
Another
14.
statement of the strength and depth that Celtic possess. Haksabanovic coming on, he's real class. He's looked since his move in the summer. And David Turnbull, not a bad replacement for Reo Hatate either. As Livingston take the goal kick. We've played 64 minutes at Celtic Park. Celtic lead by 2-1. They were coasting in the first period. Went 2-0 up, but were quickly pegged back to just the 2-1. As no sooner had they gone 2-0 up, as Nicky Devlin stole forward.
And this is right up their street now with this long throw.
Opportunity with a long throw from Nicky Devlin himself, about 25 yards from the corner flag on the right-hand side, and the box has been loaded by Livingston. Devlin preparing to launch one into the penalty area. He's got Fitzwater right on the goal line. Fitzwater comes and looks for it. He does get the touch. Back to Kelly. Joe Hart pams it away. Comes to Boys. He'll knock it back to Devlin, right hand side. Sends it back into the 6-yard box. Headed away by O'Reilly. Left by Sean Kelly. And the flag has gone up.
Yeah, just for, on the second phase. It didn't go up for the first phase. I don't think there was anybody offside from that strike. That was a really good strike. He kept it well down. It comes to him on the edge of the box, and he has to take it first time. It bounces quite high for him, but he got over the top of it. Joe Hart, you would expect him to save it, though. It was fairly straight at him.
Saw it quite late, I thought, and managed to push it away. Here's Turnbull at the other end, looking to link with O'Reilly, who clips it forward. Bernabei in the goal line, cross goal again. There's just too much on it on the cross, and out for a throw-in over on the far side. And with just over 20 minutes of the second period played, it remains Celtic 2, Livingston 1.
Yeah, Stevie Kelly's got that great technique in him. It was a really good hit. We've seen him at Ross County, a young boy coming through the ranks at Rangers, down at Salford last year as well. But he's got that technique, and I think you're right. I've seen it late, and it seemed to move. He managed to get it away.
Yeah, I think he did move in the air as well, didn't it? Throw-in taken by Livy deep in their own territory over on the far side. And now they've won a free kick for themselves, almost at the midway point in the second half. And Livingston's main issue this season, if you like, has been hitting the back of the net. Only Ross County and Killie have scored fewer in the league, albeit Livy had played at least a game fewer than just about everyone in the league, apart from St Mirren coming into this one. But they still have the threat of Joel Newbley on the bench, albeit again goal scoring not necessarily his forte, but he does offer a really good option up front.
Yeah, I think, Alan, you mentioned about Celtic's domination of possession. It's not the same as it was in the first half, that's for sure.
No, I think
the game's been broken up more.
That's credit to Livingston, it really is. I think that, and once again the goalie's kicking into the right areas. Konovalov there is kicking it right on top of Bernabei, and he's beat by Devlin in the air.
Here's Haksabanovic, finds O'Reilly, and out to the right hand side for Greg Taylor. Comes forward and links with Abada helps it on to Taylor once more on the goal line, just tries to poke it left-footed. That's where the left-sided player playing on the right doesn't quite work for Celtic. He had to go round the ball almost to get onto the left foot. Wasn't comfortable putting it in on his right. Here is Abada though, on the left foot, putting it into the penalty area, headed away by Fitzwater. Omiyonga gets it clear even further. Turnbull will go and retrieve over on the far side, about 10 yards inside the Livy half. We are at that three-quarter point in the match as the rain teams down rather more heavily now in the east end of Glasgow. O'Reilly left-hand side of the penalty area. Livingston about to make some more changes as Haksabanovic picks up and finds Turnbull in the edge of the penalty area. Turnbull looking to curl one into the far corner, and he hasn't managed to find it. Didn't quite get enough curl on the shot as he looked to find the bottom corner as Konovalov dove to his left, but it was wide of the goal, and it remains Celtic 2, Livingston 1.
Yeah, it was a decent effort. The execution, I think he just looked at the ball. He didn't really look at the goal, did he? And he just took it on without maybe getting his angles properly sorted out for that one, Turnbull, and it went about a yard and a half wide of the left-hand post, but decent try.
Looks like a triple change for Livy with Shinnie and Pittman, and I think Holt all stripped and ready to come on. So, I mean, these are players who you would often find in the Livingston starting lineup, so it's certainly not going to weaken them.
They're going to get stronger. You know, Holt's a very, very good player. Pittman, for me, and I don't want to be disrespectful to Livingston, but I think he could have played at higher levels. A goal-scoring midfield player, very good, and we all know about Shinnie's ability. So this, for me, is strengthening this Livingston side. The team out there, they're starting 11. Davies got it right because they're still in the game. You know, we're 70 minutes on the clock almost. They've been excellent. You can see tactically they're spot on. They know exactly how to play. Has been back to the wall, but they've been defending. They've been working tirelessly, and now it's time for me, the little bit of class to come on.
Still no Joel Newbley as Livingston do make the triple change, so it's Pittman and Holt and Shinnie on, and off have gone Omiyonga, Sean Kelly and Christian Montagno. We'll see, you'll get the guys to keep their eye on whether they change shape at all, if it's just like for like replacements, as Nicky Devlin launches a throw into the penalty area as Celtic try and defend and make sure they hold on to the lead. Carter Vickers gets the header clear. Turnbull helps it on. Haksabanovic is beaten for pace there by Nicky Devlin. Nicky Devlin showed a brilliant turn of pace because Haksabanovic had a few yards on him there. Kyogo sliding in there on Konovalov, and he had to be careful because if he had caught Konovalov there, he'd have been off.
Yeah, I think he's far enough away from the goalkeeper though. There's more a block than he was trying to get. From this angle here, it looks as if he was closer, but I think he was far enough away.
20 minutes to play. Livingston trail by 2-1, but have been more in the game in this second period. And that goal on the stroke of half-time has certainly given them the lift that they required and the confidence that they can come and perhaps do Celtic some damage.
That'll be Anderson done. I think he's got cramp or his calf or something.
That looks like it's Gonçalves who's initially coming back. As Celtic have it left-hand side of the Livy penalty. It's a poor pass though by Haksabanovic. Carter Vickers there for the clearance ahead of Anderson, and then Turnbull looked to be caught. Abada could be in on goal here. He's goal shy, gets a shot in. Abada makes it 3. And surely now the game is beyond Livingston. Abada got the break of the ball just inside the penalty area. He spun away and lashed it past Konovalov. It's Celtic 3, Livingston 1.
Yeah, I'm just wondering what they're remonstrating with the referee. I didn't quite see Alan. Was it?
I think there was a mistake at the edge of the box more than anything, but it might be an offside against Abada coming out late.
It might be offside.
That's what I would think it would be, because it was a poor header back. But for me, initially, Abada looked offside.
Yeah, I think it might be chalked off.
The assistant didn't put his flag up. It was not a difficult one for him. Davies looking. I think everyone's now looking up at the.
Well, yeah, he was gaining an advantage, wasn't he?
VAR will be looking at that, and Celtic might find that their lead remains at just the one goal. Abada finished it very well, certainly, but it might just have been half a yard off as the ball was played forward initially. Confirmation certainly that that's the check. The crowd booing, but It might be that Livingston are still in this game, and it is going to be Gonçalves that's going to come on for Anderson. Now Nubli is on the bench, Alan, so what's the thinking?
He's maybe got a knock. He maybe is not feeling under the weather a little bit, but you know, I mean, Davy's maybe keeping him for Saturday. I think Nubli's a terrific player. I think he's been brilliant for them. But Davy, he's a manager. He's earned the right to make his own calls.
Doing,
of course, 100%.
Let's not doubt that.
And Gonçalves is coming on. He's not a bad replacement either for Anderson.
Absolutely. Is this not a fairly easy check? It takes so long.
Well, when we saw the replay in the big screen packet, it looked that Abada was offside, but you know, sometimes these things can be deceiving and they draw the lines and so on. So Ewan Anderson,
did it come off the boys?
That's the only thing that may have come off a Livingston player when it was played through.
Yeah, it's taken a while as Isma Gonçalves prepares to come on. Ewan Anderson with his finger to his ear. Maybe he can't hear what the VAR are telling him. Oh, he's coming across to look
what
at
is he
it.
going to have? It's a possible offside, right? Why is the VAR people? If it's either offside or it's not.
Yeah, I guess there must be something else involved in it. It can't be a straightforward offside.
But we've been, the whole crowd has been told, checking for possible offside. Now these guys have got lines and you name it, they've got it.
The only thing, Alan, might be checking to see that it come off somebody, which would make him onside. That's the only thing.
But surely they can make that call though, Pat. Why do they need to send the referee over to have a look at it?
Yeah.
Well, if it was a straightforward offside, then VAR would call it. So there must be someone else involved. If it comes down to anything that's subjective, then the referee will be asked to look at it himself.
But why put on the boards then? Because the people at Celtic and at every ground get told what the check is for.
Yeah.
This is the check that we've been told in Parkhead on the board is possible offside. Surely the guys in the VAR studio, it's either offside or it's not.
Ewan Anderson is given the offside after checking the screen. The home fans not happy, but you'd have to assume that having taken plenty of time to check the footage, the VAR and the referee have got it right. Here's that change then. Isma Gonçalves replacing Bruce Anderson.
Alistair, this needs explained. This needs explained by the referee or whoever they want. Someone has to tell us what is going on here. Why are you sending him across to have a look? You're in the studio, you've got all the angles. Is he offside or is he not? Why do you need to tell the referee to come and have a look?
Yeah, I think what Paki was saying sounds like it's probably been accurate in the sense that they were checking whether it had come off a Livingston player.
But why do they need to ask the referee though? And they can't make that call themselves.
Yeah, I'm not.
The referees, Alistair, that's what they're for.
No doubt that will be highlighted this evening on Sports Scene 11:45 on BBC One Scotland. It's plenty to interest you in that one, as Celtic still haven't quite put this game beyond Livy. They thought they had a moment ago, but Abada's goal chopped off for Livingston come forward. No way through though for Devlin, as Kyogo now chests it down for Haksabanovic, then tries to drop the shoulder to get away from Boys. Boys guilty there of hauling down Kyogo. Referee believes so, and he's going to come across and boot Boys for doing so.
I thought it was the other way, actually.
I agree with you, Pat. I don't agree with that at all. I think Boys tries to play the ball back.
Yeah.
And Kyogo catches him as it goes back.
Oh, we've an exciting game now. We'll discuss this with Tom afterwards.
I thought you weren't talking to Tom anymore. Celtic have the free kick, left-hand side, midway inside the Livy half, taken short by Bernabei, and it's Haksabanovic comes in on the right foot, curls it to the back post. The header comes in from Taylor at that back post. Abada, I beg your pardon, and it was taken at his near post by Konovalov, and it remains Celtic 2, Livingston 1. We've got 13 minutes left of the 90, but there'll be tons to be added on, almost World Cup type added on time, you would imagine, after that lengthy stoppage for the VAR check.
And it's been a more even second half.
Definitely. Yeah, Celtic not enjoying the level of comfort they did in that first period. As Taylor has it, plays it square for Starfelt, and now it's Bernabei crossing the halfway line. Goes down by Shinnie. Out to Haksabanovic, it comes on the left-hand side, up against Devlin, towards the penalty area, and the angle of the box just flips it back for Bernabei. Now Turnbull turns it back to McGregor. Hasn't been quite as influential, as I said, as he was up at Pittodrie. Bernabei once more edge of the penalty area. Livingston working hard to try and win the ball back, and they just hack it clear out to that far side. It will be a Celtic throw-in. 13 to play. Celtic 2, Livy 1.
We're going to have a little go at how long is going to be added on.
I'll say 7 at this stage.
It was a long VAR check, I've got to say.
A few substitutions, VAR check.
Yeah, I think you could be right.
Not as long as the World Cup. What was the record? 14 minutes at one point.
Don't mind that, wasn't it? Don't mind that on a Saturday in the sunshine, but not on this frozen cold in December.
But it was good in the sense that we got, you know, as much football as you were supposed to have, as opposed to a lot of time wasting and so on. And I think as the competition went on, it almost seemed to, you know, prevent teams from time wasting, because they knew they were going to.
No, I agree with you. I agree with you. I think it's a good ruling, as long as it's not done to favour anybody.
Oh, absolutely. Here's Haksabanovic, Bernabei down the left-hand side. Fitzwater trying to stick with him almost at the goal line, back with Haksabanovic. And now Turnbull about 35 yards from goal, but it has to go back the way to Starfelt. Livingston have been dogged in their defending, determined, and that's why they're still in the game at 2-1 down.
Yeah, and what they've done well there is that Kelly's just pushed on to onto Callum McGregor and stopped him dominating the possession for Celtic. And they have to then go further back to the centre halves, and that allows them then to push up the pitch a little bit.
I've got to say Livingston's tactical awareness and shape has been excellent, really good.
Haksabanovic plays it forward for Bernabei. Bernabei into the penalty area, left-hand side. Can he pick out a teammate and finish it? No, he can't. It's cleared away by a couple of Livy defenders combining to knock it out of play. Bernabei did well to get in a good position, but couldn't find green and white jersey. Here he is once more, playing in a very advanced position on that left-hand side so far since he's come on. Back to Turnbull it goes, 30 yards from goal, square for Callum McGregor. Across it goes now to the right-hand side to Abada, up towards the edge of the penalty area. Turnbull once more, 25 yards from goal. Abada takes it on his left foot, well wide of goal in the end. 10 minutes to play. Celtic 2, Livy 1.
Yeah, Celtic are still dominating the possession, but it's been a really good performance, I've got to say, from the away side. You know, back to the wall, 45 minutes, got a goal right on half-time to get back in the game. But then the second half, I think Davies changes. I think taking Obalai off and bringing Boyce on, he's a more mobile, good passer of the ball has really worked for him. Now he's got some of his more recognisable starting 11 on as well. It's been an even match in the second half.
More Celtic changes coming by the looks of it. Moy and Giacomakis, I think, are the players who are going to enter the fray for the final 10 minutes plus stoppage time as Livy fire the ball forward. Taylor's underneath it though for Celtic. Pittman picks up on the loose ball, and Penrice has it now, plays it back to Longridge. Holt forward to the halfway line where Pittman gathers. He's forced back the way though by Taylor. Back to Boys, and now Fitzwater. Holt out to the right hand side to Devlin, the Livingston goal scorer. He's given it away to Kyogo, who looked to get it back. Holt fouled him, and it will be a Celtic free kick in this left-hand side. Holt disagrees with the decision, but it looked a fairly obvious one to me, and it will be a Celtic free kick about 10 yards into Livy territory as Giacomakis is stripped and ready to come on. It will be Kyogo to come off, and Aaron Moy also preparing to come on. He was excellent at the World Cup for Australia.
Yeah, he was really, really good, I've got to say.
And Matt O'Reilly will be replaced by him.
Yeah, it's not easy to come off a World Cup and have to come back and almost kick on again. But listen, he's coming to Sally Football Club, and you know, and the expectations is high. He can't drop his standard now. He's set the benchmark, and that's what the expectations of him.
Not bad though, Pat. 4 or 5 weeks of nice sunshine, nice weather at this time of year.
Yeah.
It is Giacomakis and Moy combining just seconds after coming on. Livingston hoping for one more opportunity to draw themselves level, but Celtic again have done the majority of the pressing, albeit it has been a more even second half than it was first period. Haksabanovic takes a throw in for Celtic, left hand side, and gets it back from Turnbull. Running it, Jason Holt now, about 15 yards from the goal line. Back to Turnbull once more, 25 yards from goal. Square for Taylor, who lays it off to McGregor and then gets it back once more. Playing it right back now, Taylor, after the injury to Tony Ralston. It's Abada into the penalty area for Moy, right hand side, looking to get away from Longridge there. Out to the right hand side of the penalty area he goes, the Australian, gets it back from McGregor. 7 minutes of the 90 remaining, plus stoppage time, of which there'll be a fair amount. Moy still has it, right hand side. Celtic going back the way. McGregor though picks out an excellent pass to Starfelt at the edge of the centre circle. Forward comes Starfelt, bit of room for him. Haksabanovic, his former Ruben Kazan teammate, and now Bernabei gets the ball into the penalty area, knocked away but only as far as Moy. Giacomakis on the edge of the box finds Taylor looking to get onto the left foot. It's a good challenge, comes in. It was a strong heavy challenge, but it looked to be a fair one.
Yeah,
that came excellent in from Longridge, I think it was, who put in the challenge. Taylor certainly felt that one as he looked to try and pull the trigger. Moy plays the 1-2 with Bernabei. Bernabei picks up, and Haksabanovic now challenged by Shinnie. Shinnie coming in from the back, but taking enough of the ball for Ewan Anderson to allow play to continue. And here he is once more, picking up from Devlin. McGregor's with Shinnie, and he can't find Gonsalves, and the ball's knocked forwards rather aimlessly in the end, and Joe Hart comes just outside of his penalty area to knock it short to Starfelt. 6 to play plus stoppage time. Celtic 2, Livingston 1. Celtic looking for a killer third. Picked up by
it's either a killer
Abada.
Third or just manage the game out again, you know, and they don't need to be doing too much. Just keep the ball, make it, move it off their first, second touch. Use the spare player with the goalkeeper knocking across the back, out wide, get it back again, and if the opening comes, then fine.
Haksabanovic looking to find that opening, left hand side, plays it short to Bernabei, up against Devlin, about 30 yards from the goal line, couple of yards in from the touchline. Moy now switches play for Taylor. Out to the right flank for Abada comes in field, plays it short for Turnbull, who looks to get it back to the Israeli, but it was too much on the return pass.
This is where Livingston now needs to get them up the pitch, put it into an area, get something higher up the pitch.
Konovalov collects the through ball there from Turnbull and then launches it over the halfway line, looking for Gonsalves. Does well in the jump against Starfelt, who then clutches his face, but looked to be a fair challenge. Ball breaks the way of Celtic in any event, and Taylor comes over the halfway line, still full of running. The full-back leaves it for Moy on the right hand side. Taylor once more, well advanced. Back it goes to McGregor, just 10 yards or so inside the Livy half. Carter Vickers now in the halfway line. Square for Starfelt, who just keeps it moving. It's a poor ball though. He was looking for Turnbull. Devlin picks up instead and feeds Gonsalves, but he's lost it. It's Haksabanovic picking up. Giacomakis for Bernabei. Good sliding challenge there from Jason Holt, who then goes down under the challenge from Bernabei. Celtic fans,
it's got to be a booking.
Bernabei. It will be a booking. He throws the ball to the ground in a petulant manner. Having conceded the free kick, it will be a free kick to Livingston and a booking for Bernabei.
He's got no complaints. No, it's a foul on Holt, runs across him, Holt goes down, he picks up the ball and he throws it away in disgust. It's an easy yellow card.
Yeah. The reaction, I think, also got the yellow card.
100% the reaction.
It's not for the tackle.
No.
Yeah, the tackle was nothing. It was a foul, I think, but it was the petulance and slamming the ball to the ground from Bernabei. And Livy will take the free kick through Konovalov down the right hand side, but straight out of play from the keeper, which is wasteful.
Oh my word. That's the bit he's got to work on.
Distribution.
I know he's got 70 yards to his left hand side to hit.
They haven't had possession for probably the last 5-7 minutes, and if you're going to get a chance to score a goal, you've got to get possession and try to get possession in the dangerous attacking third, and he kicks the ball out of play and gives it straight back to Celtic, and Celtic just managing the game out.
They are at the moment, certainly. Carter Vickers gets it back from Starfelt and just comes over the halfway line out to Taylor on the far side, the Celtic right. Back into his own half comes Carter Vickers, and back the way to his goalkeeper Joe Hart, who's a good 15 yards outside of his own penalty area. Plays it to Starfelt out on the left hand side away from Gonsalves. He comes and Shinnie tries to feed it to Bernabei. That's cut out though. The Celtic do win it back once again. It's Haksabanovic for Turnbull looking to find Moy. Quite a few Celtic passes have gone astray in this second half. It hasn't been nearly as impressive an important performance in the second half. I'm sure Ange Postecoglou will acknowledge that. Always very honest, it seems to me, in his post-match assessment of games. Here's Turnbull, right hand side for Celtic, midway inside the Livy half. Spins one way then the other, back to Callum McGregor. You're right, Packy, they don't need to force it, Celtic, they just need to make sure they don't allow Livy another view of Joe Hart's goal before the 90 minutes plus stoppage time are up. Here's Haksabanovic, left hand side, back it goes to Starfelt. Ange Postecoglou.
He's not happy.
No, he's not happy at something back there. And Greg Taylor picks up, feeds Giacomakis out to the right hand side for Abada. Abada just at the angle of the penalty area. Back to Taylor, out to right hand side for Moy. Moy feigns to cross first time, then plays a short ball in to Bernabei just outside the penalty area. Sliding challenge comes in from Shinnie, dispossesses the Argentine full-back. Celtic have won it back though. Here's Giacomakis almost in the penalty spot. Moy takes over, his shot's blocked I think by Fitzwater. Breaks to Turnbull about 22 yards from goal. Shinnie's down injured just at the edge of the box. Play continues. It's Moy just inside the Livy box, left hand side. Cross comes in, knocked away and out for a throw, and eventually out of play. And I think it's Penrice who was down, and he's picked himself back up, and I don't think he'll require attention. Doesn't want to be wasting any time at this stage. With Livy looking to somehow get themselves back on level terms and earn what would just be I think a fourth draw at Celtic Park in their 18 visits. They've lost 14 times coming here, and they look like they're going to lose again unless there is late dramas. That a ball played right through the middle there by Greg Taylor, but Giacomakis just couldn't quite get onto it before Konovalov came off his line.
Impressed with the keeper, but I like him.
Yeah, he's read the game well.
Yeah, he's done very well.
And he's come out, he's made a couple of big saves in the game too.
Given away by Devlin, dangerous. Giacomakis couldn't gather it in, cleared but only as far as McGregor. McGregor drives forward, poor pass from him as he looked to find Abada. It's cleared as far as Taylor. Taylor picks out Bernabei on the left hand side, midway inside the Livy half, further left to Haksabanovic, almost played the 90. Gavin Duncan will show us how much stoppage time to be playing in just a moment or two. Taylor for Turnbull, 25 yards from goal. Packed Livy defence. It is 7 minutes. What a great guess from your commentator. Here's Moy. Callum McGregor keeps it moving. Livingston working hard to try and win possession back, but it's also hard against this slick Celtic team. Taylor out on the right hand side, the left foot, ball into the box, a great ball. Abada gets a shot away, but it's wide of the far post. A couple of yards wide in the ends, in a good position, but couldn't find the target, and it remains in the first minute of the 7 added on. Celtic 2, Livy 1.
Yeah, it was a superb ball in. Was it Taylor at the hit it in? A great pass into Abada, and he just swiveled, took the shot on, kind of almost on sight of goal when he took the shot on, so he didn't really know where he was, and just knocked it across the goal and wide. But big chance for Celtic to finish off the game.
For a young man, and Abada is still a young man, he's got unbelievable numbers. 2 assists again tonight. He's had the ball in the back of the net, could have scored another couple himself with shots across the goal.
Yeah, he's got 9 goals this season. That would be just 4 assists. I think he racked up, well, I've got 15 goals and 11 assists last season in his 54 appearances. He really has hit the ground running, as Ange Postecoglou referred to in his pre-match interview. Here comes Celtic once more. A third goal would just give their fans that little bit more comfort in the closing stages as Bernabei picks out Moy. Moy can't get the shot away. Livingston again closing down inside the penalty area and working the ball clear. Starfelt comes in, he was shoved in the back there by Gonsalves, and then Giacomakis goes into the back of the Livingston player Jason Holt, and it will be a free kick Livingston's way just outside their own penalty area.
Celtic, as if Celtic is going for a winner. They are a goal up, but they don't have to go and score a goal every single time they get the ball going forward in the last couple of minutes of this game. But it's the only way that they can play. It's in their mentality, it's in their DNA.
That's what the manager wants. You've heard him say it often enough. He was not settling for the narrow victory. Livingston have it. It's Fitzwater knocking it forwards. Pittman challenges Starfelt, but the Swedish defender wins it. Breaks to Holt. Holt just nudges it forward. Moy though picks up. And then Giacomakis can't hold on to it. Holt out to Penrice, left-hand side. Into the penalty it comes. Starfelt's missed it. Comes to Devlin, right-hand side of the box. Can he pick out a teammate? It's cut out by Bernabei. Comes back to Devlin, right-hand side. Just hoists it into the box this time. Gonzalez leaves it for Shinnie, edge of the penalty area. Can't work it goalwards, but Gonzalez still battling in there. Bernabei eventually just hacks it clear. It's Celtic just for a moment. We were defending desperately, but they managed to get it out of the penalty area and away. It was Giacomakis who initially gave the ball away, but he's brought it under control and now brings it to Turnbull. Turnbull for Haksabanovic up the other end. Haksabanovic inside the penalty area, looks to pick out a teammate. Might come for Moy. Giacomakis gets in his way, takes it off the Australian. Back for Taylor, edge of the box. Can't get the shot away. Back to McGregor. It's all a little bit harum-scarum when it doesn't need to be. Taylor across goal, and a big chance for Haksabanovic over the top. He's challenged late, but the shot was already heading well over the top of the crossbar. And 3 minutes into stoppage time, it's Celtic 2, Livingston 1.
Yeah, he's kind of stretching for the ball, Haksabanovic, and he could see the defender coming in, sliding, and he kind of almost wanted to get to it, but he couldn't get his body over the ball to keep it down, and blasted it over the crossbar. Big chance for them to finish it off once again, but it's still there for Livingston. Will there be one more turn in this drama, this brilliant game that's here in Parkhead tonight?
Tom Inglis is not taking any notice of you. He's too busy typing up whatever.
It's going to be a rewrite, surely. It's going to be a rewrite after the first half. It's got to be a rewrite.
Here's Craig Taylor coming forward once more, this time from right back. He's dispossessed though. Morgan Boys will get it back to his goalkeeper, Konovalov. 4 minutes of stoppage time played, 3 left. Longridge under pressure from Abada at the edge of his own penalty. He's done well though, the defender, and just knocks it up towards the halfway line. Good challenge by Carter Vickers, not allowing Pittman to gather the ball. Longridge heads it clear. Moy returns it. Longridge picks up once more, left-hand side of his own penalty area, and just hammers it over the halfway line. Gonsalves will go across and close down Carter Vickers. Carter Vickers under pressure from Pittman this time. Pittman just stabs it towards Shinnie on the left-hand side, midway inside the Celtic half. Still Shinnie, who got a cracking goal against Celtic last term, I think it was. But eventually Celtic win the ball back. It's back in the possession of Joe Hart, and they really do now, Packy, just need to see this one out.
Yes, of course. I've been saying that for the last sort of 5 to 10 minutes. Just manage the game, knock it around. I know you have got to go and try. If the opening comes, you have got to go for it, but you don't have to go for a goal every single time. And when you're 1-0 up and 3 critical points at stake.
Yeah, going ahead, 9 points clear again by the looks of it, as Haksabanovic comes forward to try and make absolutely sure of that. Comes in on the right foot, is blocked at the edge of the 6-yard box. Again, there's howls for handball against Boys, but it just looked to come off his midriff.
Yeah, that was never a penalty. Never a penalty.
Behind for a corner. A minute and a half of stoppage time left to play.
Yeah, David Turnbull taking a sensible attitude this time, slowing down, walking to the ball.
Yeah, no hurry as far as he's concerned. Everything like that is checked, but it'll be checked very quickly because there was no notion that came off the hand of Boys as far as any of us were concerned, or indeed the referee. Here is Callum McGregor. We've got a minute left now at Celtic Park. Celtic lead by 2-1. No goals in this second period, and it has been a more even contest, but Livingston haven't been really up the park too often, and they certainly haven't been able to really test Joe Hart for this second period, as Greg Taylor picks up right hand side. Celtic just need to keep possession. David Turnbull plays it short to his captain on the right hand side, Callum McGregor. Out to Abada on the right flank. Forward for Moy. Moy covered well by Longridge and Boys. It's gone out for a throw into Livingston. They need to get up the other end. They've got less than 30 seconds of stoppage time with which to find an equaliser. It looks a forlorn hope right now. Throw in taken down the left it goes. Celtic can't gather it in. Knocked forward by McGregor. Returned up to Shinnie. Shinnie still inside his own half, just tries to feed it forward. Bernabei in the way. It'll come back to Fitzwater. He just hammers it up the park. It's all over at Celtic Park, and the home fans greet a 10th league victory in a row here at Celtic Park, a 10th league victory overall, which sends them back to 9 points clear at the top of the table going into the Christmas Eve fixtures. In truth, it was a thoroughly deserved victory, but it was perhaps a little bit more difficult than it should have been after Nicky Devlin got Livingston back into the game when Celtic had gone 2-0 up just in the stroke of half-time. The goals all came in the first period, and Obolai OG, after Abada's cross, caught him out after 23 minutes. And then the other two goals both came on the brink of half-time. Celtic went 2 up through Kyogo, a wonderfully manufactured move involving Ralston, Abada, and ultimately Kyogo, who tucked it home at the near post. But then in stoppage time, Nicky Devlin gets on the ends of a Bruce Anderson pass to bring Livy back into things and give themselves some hope for the second period. They played better further up the park in the second half, but really couldn't test Joe Hart. There were a couple of chances for Celtic. Indeed, Abada did have the ball in the back of the net, but it was chopped off for offside. Here another opportunity which he sent just wide in the latter stages. Haksabanovic fired over. Ultimately, they didn't need the third goal. They earned the 3 points, and it finished here at Celtic Park. Celtic 2, Livingston 1.